Family cultivation. I can improve my magic weapon. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 101, Double Flowers Gather Spirits, Strengthening the Second Stage. You still have such an idea. How can it be realized? In Chen Daoran's view, mortals do not have the ability to cultivate, naturally do not have divine thoughts. How can they perform the formation? Chen Qingyun is still so young. It is understandable that he is a little bold and jumpy. If you really want to let mortals perform the formation, it is impossible. Haha, sixth grandpa, how can mortals perform the formation? I haven't thought of a solution to the formation yet, and I am still working on this problem. Maybe I will use puppets in the future. Chen Qingyun smiled. It is also unclear whether the formation can also achieve results. Can Wanjiantu find a puppet that can perform the formation? On the issue of the formation, all Chen Qingyun can do now is to wait for the result from Wanjiantu. The two stayed in the weapon refining workshop for half a day. Until he witnessed the completion of the prototype of the two flying swords. Chen Daoran finally clapped his hands. It's been refined. The recent refining of red iron swords will be completed by your workshop. The prototypes of the flying swords produced will be transported back to the family. In the end, I will engrave them. Okay. By the way, Qingyun, these red irons must have been paid for by you. Why don't you ask Qingyun for some red iron directly? Chen Daoran asked, pointing to the red iron brought by the stoneworkers. Every piece of red iron collected by the family is marked. But the red iron that appears here is different. After a little thought, I know that these red irons belong to Chen Qingyun himself. Second, grandfather is really careful. The ore used in the refining here is indeed the red iron I have accumulated over the years. How can I use your red iron to produce flying swords for the family? Chen Daoran shook his head repeatedly. In the future, use the family's ore to refine. You should keep your own material resources. They are useful to you. The family will not take advantage of you. These flying sword prototypes are also yours. You don't have to hand them over to the family. Chen Qingyun nodded secretly after hearing this. If these red iron swords are not handed over to the family, they will be used for decomposition or strengthening. You can also take out some of them to sell in the market. Of course, the strengthened red iron swords cannot continue to use the name of red iron swords. It must be renamed and sold as a new weapon. This will not compete with the hematite market and damage the interests of the family. I will think about how to do it in the evening. Qingyun, I will go back to the family and discuss with the clan leader. The clan leader is still waiting for the result. I believe that in a few days, the family will be able to hand over the refining of the prototype of the red iron sword to your refining workshop for production. You look young, and your ideas are indeed much better than those of us elders. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe that the prototype of the red iron sword could be produced here. You know, when the clan leader received your message, he was so confused that he insisted that I come over to take a look. Chen Daoran left and was in a good mood. When he looked at Chen Qingyun, he showed a deep admiration. Now, as long as Chen Daoran comes to the inscription formation, he can save the 3 steps of smelting, fusion, and shaping, which greatly shortens his refining time. How can he not be happy? In this way, there is more time to refine other magic tools and make the large spirit ship task assigned by the clan leader. In that case, let's do it. Chen Qingyun smiled and nodded. The family uses this refining workshop. When the time comes, the specific division of benefits will need to be discussed by the family's top leaders. The family naturally cannot get the refining workshop for free. Chen Qingyun doesn't care much about these. In the second half of the night, Chen Qingyun stayed in the refining room. Taking advantage of this free time, he prepared to refine the 3-flower-gathering spirit platform. Silver brilliant stone, warm sun treasure copper, and gathering spirit stone embryo. These are the raw materials for refining the 3-flower gathering spirit platform. The most expensive one is the gathering spirit stone embryo. This thing has reached the first class level. Generally, it will only be born after 100 years of nurturing in the spirit vein. The price is more than 500 spirit stones. The price of silver brilliant stone and warm sun treasure copper is about 150 respectively. Wanjiantu actually has the refining drawings of such treasures in her hand. Then think of the refining method of the soul-nourishing jade mastered by Yuzalin. Chen Qingyun feels more and more that these two people have extraordinary origins. It is estimated that they are not just the direct disciples of a purple mansion cultivator. This world of immortal cultivation is full of hidden talents. It is not an exaggeration to say so. After browsing the jade slips for refining again and making sure there were no problems, Chen Qingyun prepared the materials and activated the fire control array. Just like refining the soul-nourishing jade, it only needs to refine the most basic form, that is, the 1-flower gathering spirit platform. As for the inscription array, there are only 6 array patterns, so it is not difficult to refine. After refining 3 refining materials, 2 1-flower gathering spirit platforms were finally produced. After 4 strengthening points were smashed, the 1-flower gathering spirit platform visibly changed from 1 flower to 2 flowers. This 2-flower gathering spirit platform is of the first grade extreme grade, and has reached the limit of the magic weapon that can be controlled by the Qi refining cultivator. A second-grade magic weapon can only be controlled after reaching the foundation building stage. This one, Chen Qingyun decided to use it himself. Chen Qingyun urged the 2-flower gathering spirit platform, which changed rapidly from the size of a palm to the size of 2 cushions. Chen Qingyun sat cross-legged on it. 2 golden lotuses slowly floated on the spirit gathering platform, emitting a hazy light, rapidly absorbing the spiritual energy of the surrounding heaven and earth and refining it. When the 2 golden lotuses were connected, the pure spiritual energy inside began to surge, and at the same time flowed toward Chen Qingyun's head and flowed through the tendons and veins. Finally, these pure spiritual energy, under the operation of the exercises, gathered in the Danshan and converted into true energy. This continued for an hour. Chen Qingyun could clearly feel that this short period of practice was equivalent to the effect of practicing for 2 hours on weekdays. These are just 2 spirit gathering flowers, and they have such an effect. When it is upgraded to the 3-flower spirit gathering platform, the effect will be even better. With such treasures to assist in practice, the efficiency of practice has been greatly improved. I have to try to collect some refining materials for the 3-flower spirit gathering platform in the future and build a few for the family. Chen Qingyun's eyes were full of brilliance. There is still 1 3-flower spirit gathering platform left. Strengthening point 1. Currently, there is only 1 strengthening point left, and new strengthening points must be obtained. The magic tools in the storage bag can be used for decomposition after the accumulation of the past few years, and there are 29 red iron swords. This time, the red iron swords were all made by Chen Qingyun himself a year ago. The weapon refining workshop can now easily produce the prototype of the red iron sword, and the later inscription formation is also much easier. Chen Qingyun did not hesitate to decompose all these red iron swords and obtains 29 strengthening points. He first used 4 strengthening points and strengthened this 1-flower gathering spirit platform to the first level top grade, and then temporarily stopped strengthening. He has never strengthened a magic tool to the second level. Wanjiantu's 3-flower gathering spirit platform is just right for trial. Currently, there are 26 strengthening points. I don't know how many strengthening points are needed to strengthen the first level top grade magic tool to the second level lower grade. From the first grade low grade to the first grade middle grade, it takes 1 point to strengthen. From the middle grade to the upper grade, it takes 2 points. And then to the top grade, it takes 4 points. To strengthen it to the second grade magic weapon, at least 8 points of strengthening are needed. I guessed in my mind how many points are needed, and I will know after trying it. Strengthen the 3-flower gathering spirit platform. Chen Qingyun gave the order and started strengthening. Chapter 102 New Item, Scarlet Sky Sword. Chen Qingyun only saw changes in strengthening points. After deducting 21 points, the light flashed on the double flower gathering platform, and the aura of the magical weapon increased again. In one fell swoop, he was promoted to the second level of low grade. 2 soul gathering flowers turned into 3 blackjack strengthening points. Seeing this consumption, it was obviously beyond Chen Qingyun's expectations. This is equivalent to consuming 3 first-level magic weapons to strengthen 1 second-level low-quality magic weapon. At least 4,050 spirit stones were consumed. The reward for refining the 3-flower gathering platform is 4,500 spirit stones. Fortunately, the consumption cannot be calculated like this. After all, 21 strengthening points are equivalent to 21 first-level low-grade magic weapons, which are worth 1,050 spiritual stones. For this refining, in addition to the spiritual stone reward, I also received an additional double flower spirit gathering platform. Wanjiantu also agreed to give one of the spiritual puppets. As long as the problem of the inscription array of the magic weapon is solved, the weapon refining workshop can realize the idea of refining the magic weapon without the participation of the weapon refiner. The income that can be brought in the future will reach an astonishing amount. All of this investment is worth it. Strengthening points 5. After putting away the 3 flowers soul gathering platform, looking at the single-digit strengthening points, I had to get some strengthening points. Chen Qingyun took out another storage bag. The spiritual consciousness moved. The flying swords inside appeared one after another and piled up in front of him. Ding 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 ding. A total of 45 hematite swords. This is the latest production result of the weapon refining workshop. There are only 3 strengthening points left, which are too few. Let's disintegrate part of the red iron sword. Chen Qingyun pondered for a while and selected 35 red iron swords for decomposition. Strengthening points 40. The next step is to strengthen the remaining 10 red iron swords and earn more spiritual stones. If you want to buy a foundation building pill, you must prepare at least 10,000 spirit stones. Chen Qingyun checked his storage bag and found that he only had 6,819 pieces of spiritual stones left. If you want to buy the foundation establishment pill, it is obviously a bit worse. What's more, the spirit gathering formation also requires money. It seems that during this period, I will earn more spiritual stones. Chen Qingyun sighed with emotion and thought about what level to strengthen the red iron sword to, so that it would be the best to sell. Currently, the best-selling item in the market is the first-grade high-grade magic weapon, and the price of one is at least 600 spirit stones. The price of a top-grade first-class magic weapon is easily 1,300 spiritual stones, so very few people buy it, and they won't spend all their spiritual stones on the purchase of the magic weapon. They prefer to buy first-level high-grade magic weapons, and then buy some more elixirs and talismans. The remaining 10 red iron swords should be upgraded to the first-level high-quality swords and sold in the market in exchange for some spiritual stones. After thinking for a while and making up his mind, Chen Qingyun spent 30 strengthening points to strengthen all 10 red iron swords to the first level. Since these 10 hematite swords are to be sold, naturally they can no longer be called hematite swords and have to be renamed. Hematite? Zhuxiantu. Why don't we just call it Zhuxiantu sword? Chen Qingyun clapped his hands. One of the 10 famous swords known in the past life. Let's rename the red iron sword. I hope that this scarlet sky sword can cultivate immortality in this different world and become famous. After such operations, there are only 10 strengthening points left. Chen Qingyun continued to count the storage bags. After totaling it up, the current amount of hematite on my body has been accumulated and consumed for more than 3 years. As of now, there are still 309 pieces left. The value of these hematites is not high if they are kept. It is better to process them into magic weapons to maximize their value. Put them all into the weapon refining workshop. You need to refine some red iron swords to get strengthening points. According to the current production scale, it will take about a month to refine these 309 pieces of hematite. Lunchtime. Chen Qingyun once again summoned the mortals of the family, selected 10 more people, and started night shift production. A total of 20 people are working day and night to produce, and the output of the weapon refining workshop will be doubled. From these 309 hematite pieces, it is estimated that 290 hematite sword prototypes will be produced by then. While instructing the weapon refining workshop to produce prototypes of flying swords and increasing production intensity, the transmission note in Chen Qingyun's hand flashed a few times, and Zhang Wenhui sent a message. Brother Qingyun, the spirit gathering formation you want has been prepared. The price is 3,000 spirit stones. When will you come and get it? In less than a month, the spirit gathering formation was ready, and the Zhang family was very efficient. A second level spirit gathering array costs at least 2,500 spirit stones. 3,000 spirit stones can be said to be not expensive. Go to Zhuxiantu first and give the 3 flowers spirit gathering platform to Wanjiantu in exchange for reward. Chen Qingyun responded immediately. Okay, I'll come and pick it up in a few days. He told Chen Bekai to be optimistic about the production of the weapon refining workshop. After tidying up and checking that both the Liang Demon Slaying formation and the 4-elephant Xuanwu formation were activated, Chen Qingyun set out to leave Zhenhai Island and head to Hefang City first. Zhuxiantu. When I came here, Liu Zilin was not in the store. Under the hospitality of the waiter, Chen Qingyun did not wait long. Soon, 2 figures came from outside. Fellow Taoist Chen, I've been waiting for a long time. Liu Zilin walked in the front, followed closely by Wanjiantu, her eyes firmly fixed on Chen Qingyun. Senior Liu, Senior Wan, last time the monks from the Zhao family were following me, the 2 seniors came to help me. I would like to thank Chen Qingyun remembered this incident and expressed his gratitude in person. You still remember this incident? I thought I had scared you away, and you didn't even come back to say hello to us. How could you be like that? Wanjiantu smiled and teased Chen Qingyun. Chen Qingyun just smiled slightly. Liu Zilin on the side was a little confused and asked, Chen Dao, I see that those 2 are family cultivators. They live in this Black Cliff market all year round. How could Chen Dao offend them? I don't know them. It's not that I took the initiative to provoke them. In the final analysis, this is a grudge between the 2 clans. Chen Qingyun explained briefly. My Chen family and the Zhao family have always been at odds, and the grudge has been accumulated for a long time. He recognized the 2 Zhao family cultivators at the beginning. At that time, he didn't take action, just wanted to stay away from the Black Cliff market before taking action. But I didn't expect that Liu Zilin and Wanjiantu also followed him, and later helped him and killed the 2 Zhao family cultivators. So, it's a feud between the families. Even if I don't take action, you will kill those 2 people. Liu Zilin suddenly said. Yes. Chen Qingyun nodded and looked at Wanjiantu. But, Senior Wan, why did you think of taking action to eliminate those 2 people for me? After saying this, Wanjiantu did not answer, but smiled. You will know the reason in a while. She asked Chen Qingyun about his purpose of coming this time. Did you come here today to complete my commission and bring the 3 flower gathering spirit platform? Senior Wan has a keen eye. Chen Qingyun smiled and nodded, and took out the 3 flower gathering spirit platform from the storage bag. Really? Seeing the 3 flower gathering spirit platform, Wanjiantu's eyes lit up. It was refined so quickly. Chapter 103, Soul Puppet, Reason for Action. Wanjiantu picked up the 3 flowers gathering spirit table and inspected it carefully for a while. Liu Zilin's eyes were also attracted, and she was surprised at Chen Qingyun's efficiency. According to their guess, it would take 4 or 5 months to refine the 3 flower spirit gathering platform. Unexpectedly, in less than a month, the finished product is in front of you. Watching Wanjiantu inspect the goods, Chen Qingyun waited quietly. Okay, there is no problem with the magic weapon. After a while, Wanjiantu nodded with satisfaction and refined the magical weapon on the spot. The reward will be given to you now. Immediately, She took out 4,500 spirit stones and a puppet and handed them to Chen Qingyun. 4,500 spiritual stones, you can count them yourself. As for the puppet, according to your request, I recently made one for you. You can test it now to see if it achieves the effect you want. If you feel dissatisfied, I can improve it again for you. Wanjiantu pointed to the puppet in front of her. This puppet is tall man, dressed in black, and looks very dull. Chen Qingyun could not feel any aura fluctuations on this puppet, as if it was a dead thing. Chen Qingyun didn't look much, and first quietly counted the spirit stones. He has a lot of expenses these days. With the purchase of fire control formations and spirit gathering formations, as well as the consumption of various refining materials, the number of spiritual stones on his body was getting less and less day by day. Now, I have earned 4,500 spirit stones, and my pocket is full again. After confirming that the spirit stone was correct, Chen Qingyun took a closer look at the puppet. On the side, Liu Zilin had no interest in this puppet at all. She just looked at Chen Qingyun quietly with her beautiful eyes, paying attention to Chen Qingyun's next expression. Chen Qingyun looked at it for a while and tried to sacrifice the puppet, but found that it could not be sacrificed. Obviously, this is not a magic weapon. At this time, Wanjiantu began to introduce with a smile. Fellow Taoist Chen, this puppet is not within the category of magical weapons, nor does it have any cultivation level. You don't need to sacrifice it. But it has spiritual thoughts and a monk's soul. It can obey any of your instructions like a spiritual pet. Chen Qingyun also guessed that the puppet did not have strength. When he heard Wanjiantu's words, his face couldn't help but condense. It has the soul of a monk? An idea comes to mind. Could it be? You guessed it right. Before Chen Qingyun finished speaking, Wanjiantu nodded slowly, looked at Chen Qingyun deeply, and said with a smile, "You also know that only monks have spiritual thoughts, and divine thoughts are born from the soul. If you want a puppet that has spiritual thoughts and can obey your instructions, the best way is to use the soul of a monk to make the puppet. A puppet made from the soul of a monk." After hearing this, as expected, Chen Qingyun frowned. In his understanding, everything he saw and heard were all demonic cultivators, and evil cultivators would extract the souls of monks to use them to refine magic weapons, practice demonic techniques, and so on. This kind of behavior of harming monks, not even sparing the soul of the other party, has always been criticized and suppressed by many righteous monks, and their expressions have changed. Lin Baoshan belongs to the authentic Taoist sect, and its reputation resounds throughout the Xinghai. How could these disciples from the immortal sect extract the souls of monks and refine puppets? For a moment, Chen Qingyun only felt that the woman in front of him was a bit confused about Wanjiantu. It was even difficult to tell whether the other party was a serious and righteous monk. With this method of making a self-destructing puppet, don't you worry too much about getting yourself into trouble? If her master Zhuxiantu knew about this, he might not be able to allow Wanjiantu to continue to practice under her, and he might even clean up the family. Why is fellow Taoist Chen looking at me like this? Noticing Chen Qingyun's frowning behavior, Wanjiantu chuckled a few times. Do you think I am practicing demonic cultivation? I shouldn't use this monk's soul to make a puppet. As soon as she finished speaking, Liu Zilin looked serious and spoke. Don't worry, fellow Taoist Chen, I know my senior sister's character best. She is not a demon cultivator. The method of making this puppet is actually passed down from the master's sect. When Chen Qingyun heard this, he pondered without speaking. Looking at this puppet now, I don't know which monk's soul is inside. I had heard of using monk souls to make puppets before, but I didn't expect that I would get such a puppet. So much so that for a moment, there was some conflict. Fellow Taoist Chen. Wanjiantu showed a rare serious look and stared into Chen Qingyun's eyes and asked, "If I told you that the monk in this puppet once had murderous intentions for you, do you think you would let him threaten you?" Senior Wan, what does this mean? To tell you the truth, the soul in this puppet comes from the Zhao family. Wan Yanran mentioned what happened before. Do you still remember the two Alf family monks who were following you at that time? This is why I took action to help you eliminate those two people. Wan Yanran talked about the reason for this. Listening to Wan Yanran's story, Chen Qingyun gradually realized after Wan Yanran took action and killed the two Alf family monks, she used a soul-calling magic weapon to take away the soul of one of them, Dao Yisheng, and then wiped out all his memories and placed him in this puppet. As the specific puppet-making process involved the secrets of the sect, Wan Yanran did not mention it and just passed it over. Fellow Taoist Chen, this world is the law of the jungle, and the survival of the fittest. It is an eternal law that cultivators kill monsters, refine elixirs, magic weapons, and eat their flesh and blood. For those monsters, what is the difference between our wanton hunting and that of demon cultivators? Wan Yanran looked into Chen Qingyun's eyes and said, "This question really stumped Chen Qingyun." Wan Yanran did not expect Chen Qingyun to realize something here, and smiled faintly. Your Chen family and Zhao family have a deep hatred. Let alone killing them, using the soul of one of them to make a puppet, even if it means destroying the whole family, is also a normal thing in the world of immortal cultivation. Fellow Taoist Chen must understand this principle better than me. The puppet has been given to you, it is up to you to decide how to use it later. There are several formulas to control it. I will pass them on to you. Since the puppet has been made and the soul of the Zhao family cultivator is still used, Chen Qingyun did not resist it. He listened to Wan Yanran's guidance and mastered the method of controlling the soul puppet. After putting away the puppet, Chen Qingyun remembered the matter of the Zhuxiantu sword and asked Liu Zilin, "Senior, I have 10 brand new flying sword magic weapons here. Do you want to take them?" Hearing that there were magic weapons to be recovered, Liu Zilin's eyes lit up and asked, "What grade is it?" This also attracted Wan Yanran's sidelong glance. Chen Qingyun did not hesitate and took out the 10 Zhuxiantu swords. Chapter 104 Welcome to long-term cooperation with Senior Liu. When deciding to sell these Zhuxiantu swords, Chen Qingyun thought seriously about how to sell these flying swords. He refining cultivator, carrying 10 first-class flying swords, all of which were first-hand goods. Anyone who saw this would wonder about the origin of these 10 flying swords. If you meet a shopkeeper with bad intentions, you might be targeted. There are many examples of cultivators selling magic tools and treasures at high prices in the market, and then leaving the market and finding their bodies floating on the sea. Chen Qingyun didn't want to be attacked before the spirit stones were warmed. For safety reasons, after thinking about it, only Zilanshan could be trusted. After all, he had refined the soul-nourishing jade for Liu Zilin before, and he took away the spirit stone reward safely after the transaction. Later, he met Wan Yanran, and seeing that they were all from Yaoang Mountain, this master was from a famous family, which was a bit more secure. Just sell it from Liu Zilin. This sword is called Zhuxiantu, and it is a magic weapon that was made in the past few days. As for the grade, Senior Liu will know it after taking a look. Chen Qingyun smiled faintly. 10 Zhuxiantu swords were placed in a row. Liu Zilin carefully checked them for a while and nodded slowly. 10 first-grade high-quality flying swords, all with 8 array patterns, and they are first-hand resources, and the quality is excellent. According to the current market price of magic weapons, I can give you a price of 650 spirit stones per sword. As she said, Liu Zilin raised her eyes with some curiosity and looked at Chen Qingyun and asked, "Fellow Taoist Chen, I would like to ask, are these magic weapons also refined by that senior?" In her opinion, the Chen family would not allow a king generation to bring 10 first-grade high-quality magic weapons to sell alone. This magic weapon resource worth more than 6,000 spirit stones must have sent a few more cultivators to escort it all the way. If it is not from the Chen family, then it may be from the hand of that senior. Wan Yanran also wanted to know the answer to this question, and her eyes were looking straight at Chen Qingyun. They were fine, just surprised that Chen Qingyun could take out such a magical weapon. If it were some casual cultivators, they might have the idea of killing people to steal treasures. It is worth 6,500 spirit stones, How many resources can be purchased with this? In the eyes of casual cultivators, it is unlikely to accumulate so many spirit stones in a lifetime, which is enough to tempt them to risk their lives. Facing the two women's scrutiny, Chen Qingyun nodded with a calm look. Senior, Liu Yu is really kind. He simply said a good word, and in order to increase credibility, he added another sentence. These are the flying swords that Senior Liu has recently refined. He entrusted me to take them to the Black Cliff Market to sell them in exchange for some spirit stones. Is Senior Liu willing to accept these flying swords? The weapon refiner surnamed Liu. Hearing this, Liu Zilin and the other two women quickly recalled which weapon refiner surnamed Liu they knew and had good attainments in weapon refinement. In the end, nothing was gained. This is a magical weapon made after Master Liu, and it is very rare. Unable to determine who it was, Liu Zilin did not ask, and said with a smile, "Of course. A first-grade superior magical weapon is still the most mainstream flying sword magical weapon. Even if it is sold for 700 spirit stones, according to Zalanshan's reputation and background, there is no worry about selling it. Recycling these Qixiao swords from Chen Qingyun and then selling them all, Liu Zilin can earn at least 500 spirit stones. In Chen Qingyun's view, earning a few hundred spirit stones less and avoiding the risk of being targeted and thought of is completely worth it. More importantly, he also needs to find a long-term and stable partner, and it is not just selling Qixiao swords this time. This transaction is a win-win for both of them. 10 Qixiao swords were sold at a price of 6,500 spirit stones. Feeling the weight of spirit stones, Chen Qingyun only felt a sense of relief after earning a total of 9,500 spirit stones this time. Finally, there is a little capital. It is enough to buy the spirit gathering formation. In the future, can we continue to sell the Qixiao sword here? Chen Qingyun thought about it and asked. Senior, Liu has accumulated quite a few Qixiao swords recently, and these 10 are just a small part of them. I wonder if your store is willing to buy back more Qixiao swords? As soon as the voice fell, I thought Liu Zilin would consider it and ask how many Qixiao swords there were. Unexpectedly, the woman responded quickly. Accept. Liu Zilin nodded. I trust the magic weapon refined by Senior Liu. I will take as many as you have. But I have a condition. Hearing that there was a condition, Chen Qingyun subconsciously asked, what condition? Liu Zilin said seriously, it's very simple. I can continue to buy back the Qixiao sword from you in the future and reach a long-term cooperation with you. But, in order to protect the interests of our store, you can only sell this Qixiao sword to me. Of course. Chen Qingyun nodded. He guessed Liu Zilin's concerns. Once he sells the Qixiao sword in other shops in the market, then this kind of magic weapon will no longer be sold exclusively by Zalanshan. At that time, other shops will raise or reduce prices in order to sell, which will affect the interests of Zalanshan. Chen Qingyun even hopes to only recycle magic weapons in Zalanshan, so as to save the effort of looking for other shops. In this case, from now on, I will only sell you the Qixiao sword from Senior Liu. Okay. The cooperation on the Qixiao sword was reached. Before he was about to leave, Chen Qingyun smiled faintly and said, by the way, before coming here, Senior Liu had told me that if the two seniors or their friends still have any needs for refining instruments, they can contact him again. If you want to refine magical instruments, just contact me. This kind of lucrative refining commission can earn thousands of spirit stones at a time. So Chen Qingyun certainly wants to take it on more times. At the same time, he couldn't help but sigh that the foundation building cultivators in Lingbao Mountain are really rich. They can easily take out thousands of spirit stones. Hearing this, Liu Zilin and the other two girls looked at each other and nodded with a smile. The two girls each took out a communication talisman and handed it to Chen Qingyun for future contact. Immediately, with the two girls watching him, Chen Qingyun stood up and said goodbye and left Zalanshan. When Chen Qingyun's figure disappeared on the streets of Fangxi, Wanjiantu watched for a while, and a greater curiosity emerged in her heart. Junior sister, who do you think Senior Liu is? This kid from the Chen family is not simple either, and he has made friends with such a master of refining weapons. Liu Zilin shook her head slightly and said, he is unwilling to reveal more, so we can't ask too much. As cultivators, who doesn't have a little secret? After that, she picked up a Zhuxiantu sword and said with emotion, Senior sister, look, Senior Lu's refining skills are really amazing. Look carefully at these 10 Zhuxiantu swords. The 8 array patterns on the swords are all engraved very beautifully and meticulously. It's the first time for me that someone can refine a first-grade magic weapon to such a good quality. When Yanran picked up a Zhuxiantu sword, looked at it carefully for a while, and nodded. This sword is really good. There is a shortage of flying swords and magic weapons on the market recently. These flying swords will probably be sold out within a day. The two women exchanged a few words about the sale of magic weapons, and then when Yanran remembered the things that Master was worried about recently. Then I recalled what Chen Qingyun said before he left. My dear junior sister, the magic weapon that Master wants to refine recently, does Senior Lu have the ability to refine it? Chapter 105, Zhang Family Formation, Red Lake Red Dragon. Yuzilin showed respect when she mentioned her master. It's hard to say this, let's ask Master when we return to the sect and see what she thinks. I guess Senior Lu is afraid that it won't work. What Master wants to refine is not an ordinary second-level magic weapon, otherwise, why would Master be worried about this matter these days? Let's try it. If we can relieve Master's worries and be respected by Master, we will be able to gain a firmer foothold in the sect in the future. That's fine. I've seen that Li Hongling's nanny is always trying to target you. I'm afraid she might cause trouble for you. You have to be careful. I'm not afraid of Li Hongling coming to cause trouble. She will make trouble if she wants. What I'm most worried about is that she will act like a monster on the demon battlefield. All the way out of Hefang City, Chen Qingyun took off the cloud boat at full speed and flew towards the Zhang family on Chu Island. The Zhang family on Chu Island is more than 30,000 miles away from Zhenhai Island and is located in the southernmost part of the Xingsha Islands. Even if the imperial envoy Funzu traveled at full speed, it took more than 3 days to reach the Zhang family. For a journey of more than 30,000 miles, in order to save mana, monks would choose to go to sea on large ships. Where does Chen Qingyun have large ships? The level of the ships usually starts from the first level of high grade, and the construction period is very long, at least 1,000 spiritual stones. This time, the long journey made Chen Qingyun feel tired. At the same time, he also secretly decided in his heart that after returning this time, he would have to buy a spiritual ship. You can't waste mana every time you go to sea. So let's use Fianzu. If we go further and go beyond the scope of the Xingsha Islands, let alone Qi refining monks, even foundation building monks will be exhausted. The sea area of the inner star sea can easily start at tens of millions of kilometers, not to mention the vaster outer star sea and the outer sea of 10,000 demons. While sighing in his heart at the vastness of the sea area, and seeing Zhangjialing Island right in front of him, Chen Qingyun had no intention of resting, and sent Fianzhu to board the island. As a cultivating family, Chu Island serves as the base camp of the Zhang family. An island circling formation is also set up on the island to protect the safety of Zhang family monks and mortals. Compared to the Chen family, the Zhang family is much stronger. This clan has 3 foundation building monks, and there are more than 10 monks in the late stage of Qi refining. The total number of monks is 39. When he arrived at Chu Island, looking at the vast coastline around him and vaguely seeing several huge ships docked at the port in the distance, Chen Qingyun noticed the gap between the Chen family and the Zhang family. Currently, although the Chen family has built a seaport terminal, the family does not own a large spiritual ship. Yes, there are only 2 ordinary sailing ships. This is actually not because the Chen family cannot afford a spiritual ship. It's because there aren't many monks in the Chen family to begin with, and the family's businesses are all located in sea areas within a radius of tens of thousands of miles, so they won't go on a long voyage. Adhering to the principle of saving what you can, if everyone wants to leave the island, They can use their magic weapons to fly by themselves. That is to say, the Chen family built 2 large ships temporarily in order to transport more than 1,000 Chen family mortals from Lingjian Island to Zhenhai Island. 4 large spiritual ships, the family must have one. Chen Qingyun secretly made a note, looked around the island a few times, took out the transmission talisman, and informed Zhang Wenhui. After just a short while, 2 figures came out. "Haha, Ziyu Chen, long time no see." Zhang Ren smiled lightly and took the initiative to say hello. When he noticed Chen Qingyun's unrestrained cultivation, a look of surprise appeared on his face. The 9th level of Qi refining. It's been a while since I last saw Chen Qingyun's cultivation grow so fast. If this happens in another year or 2, the next time we meet again, the foundation building period will not be reached. Senior Zhang. Chen Qingyun greeted politely and looked at Zhang Wenhui on one side. Zhang Wenhui looked secretly excited at this time. "Brother Qingyun." Hearing his granddaughter calling Chen Qingyun this way, Zhang Ren was stunned for a moment, and then looked at his granddaughter with some concern. Looking at the calm look on Chen Qingyun's face, it was obvious that this was not the first time he was called Brother Qingyun. The old man smiled bitterly in his heart, secretly thinking that it was not easy for him as an old man to get involved in the affairs between boys and girls. In the eyes of the Zhang family, Chen Qingyun has nothing to criticize in terms of status or talent. However, others may not think highly of my granddaughter. Young Chen has come a long way and has been traveling a long way. He must be tired. Since you're here, you might as well come to my Zhang house to sit for a while. Zhang Ren invited. Little friend Chen has never been a guest at my Zhang family. Compared to your Chen family, the scenery on our island may be inferior, but there are still some good scenery to enjoy. Please. When he arrived at someone's house and was invited to sit in, this was not beyond Chen Qingyun's expectations. Chen Qingyun wanted to politely refuse, but the next second, Zhang Ren smiled sheepishly. "The formation is still in the clan, and I don't have it with me. Why don't Chen Ziyu come with us to get it?" After saying that, he gave Zhang Wenhui a wink. Zhang Wenhui was still paying attention to whether Chen Qingyun would come to sit at home, but she didn't notice Zhang Ren's behavior at all. Zhang Ren winked twice more. Seeing that her granddaughter seemed to have been seduced by Chen Qingyun, she couldn't help complaining that her granddaughter had grown up and her arms were about to turn outward. He curled his lips and took the initiative to lead the way. Chen Qingyun did not refuse and followed into the Zhang family. The island formation was activated, and the scene inside the formation changed. The first thing he saw was a huge lake. The color of the water in this lake is not red, but because there's a second-level red dragon living in the lake, it is named Red Lake. It is said that this red dragon was a spiritual pet raised by Zhang Tangxu, the ancestor of the Zhang family. After Zhang Tangxu passed away, this red dragon has been living in this red lake, guarding this small family. It is worth mentioning the famous delicacy red-tailed red catfish in Xingsha Islands comes from this red lake and is a special spiritual fish of the Zhang family. When he first came to the Zhang family, Zhang Ren led the way and introduced the surrounding environment and scenery. The residence and activity areas of the Zhang family's cultivators are all built around this red lake, with various pavilions and towers. The stronger the cultivator is, the closer he lives to Qi Lake. There is an island in the middle of Qi Lake, where the patriarch of the Zhang family lives. Outside Qi Lake, that is, the eastern and southern areas of Qi Island, are the living areas of the Zhang family's mortals. The spiritual energy there is very thin, and cultivators rarely set foot there, which can be regarded as a paradise. Following Zhang Ren and his grandson all the way. Along the way, occasionally 2 or 3 Zhang family cultivators passed by and greeted Zhang Ren after seeing him. They were all younger generations. When they saw Chen Qingyun, a strange face, and recognized the dress of the Chen family of Lingjian Island, they just looked at him curiously and nodded with a smile. They went all the way to a reception room and sat down. Zhang Wenhui took the initiative to make tea and served cakes and fruits. Zhang Ren asked Chen Qingyun about his experience along the way and chatted casually. After a while, a middle-aged man stepped into the hall. Which fellow Taoist wants the second level, mid-grade spirit gathering array? Chapter 106. Matchmakers also appear in the world of cultivating immortals. As soon as Zhang Li came in, he glanced at Chen Qingyun and asked when he saw no other unfamiliar faces. This formation has been prepared for him. Is that Taoist friend here to trade today? Daddy. Seeing Zhang Li, Zhang Wenhui immediately greeted him. Here, Lu. Zhang Ren called out and glared at Zhang Li. Have you brought the formation? This young friend Chen has come from afar to get it in person. You must treat him well and not lose your manners. Hearing this, Zhang Li's eyes fell on Chen Qingyun. When he saw the cultivator from the Chen family, a smile appeared on his face. Oh, it turns out that this is really the spiritual gathering formation customized by the Taoist friend of the Chen family. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. After that, Zhang Li took out a storage bag from his wide sleeves. This is the formation you want. The price is 3,000 spirit stones. Wenhui should have told you. Check it yourself. If there is any problem, it will be hard to explain once you leave the Zhang family. After the money and goods are settled, count them separately. Zhang Li said seriously. He is a very rigorous person. This spirit gathering formation was also made by him with great effort and time recently. Every link of the formation was treated with care and the process was rigorous and precise. The price of 3,000 spirit stones is really worth the money. Okay, that's it. Chen Qingyun smiled slightly, took the storage bag, checked it inside, and nodded quickly. I've checked it. There is no problem with this formation. I'll give you the spirit stones now. He counted out 3,000 spirit stones, which piled up into a small mountain, which was very conspicuous in the living room. This large pile of spirit stones made Zhang Li's eyes light up and he began to count them. In his opinion, this spirit gathering formation was definitely not bought by Chen Qingyun himself. He must have been commissioned by the Chen family to purchase the formation with spirit stones. No need to count. With the character of the Chen family, I don't know how many spirit stones are missing from me. Zhang Li smiled faintly, and his eyes could not help but look at Chen Qingyun. The 9th level of qi refining. This surprised him quite a bit. The other party looked only a few years older than his daughter, but his cultivation was several levels higher. When did the Chen family produce such a young genius? Even he, with the 6th level of qi refining, was eclipsed by Chen Qingyun. One hand paid the money, the other hand delivered the goods. The clan still has important matters, so I will leave first. After getting the spirit gathering formation, Chen Qingyun did not stay any longer. He found a reason and clasped his fists, ready to turn around and leave. Wait a minute, young friend, Zhang Li's voice sounded. Since you're here, there is no need to leave in such a hurry. Senior, is there anything else? Chen Qingyun stopped and asked in confusion. Zhang Li smiled and looked at Chen Qingyun, and said in a joking tone, young friend Chen is so young, but he has already reached the peak of qi refining. It is just around the corner to build a foundation in the future. Compared with my youth, it is really much better. Even if I look at it now, my cultivation is far inferior to yours. It is really formidable to be young. Thank you for your compliment, senior. The talent and prospects of the nobles are not bad. I am just a little luckier. Chen Qingyun responded modestly. My cultivation is really nothing in the entire Xingsha Islands. It is just an ordinary talent. As far as he knows, the Zhang family uses Tanren Lao and Zixin to arrange the generation. The Zhang family's generation is equivalent to the Chen family's king generation. Zhang Wenhui in front of him is actually a generation of the same generation as him. Haha, it's rare for Chen Ziyu to be so modest. Zhang Li smiled, showing some admiration, and then said in a joking tone, Chen Ziyu is such a rare talent. He must be at most 21 or 22 years old. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you have a Taoist partner? Zhang Ren was stunned when he heard this. What's wrong with his son? He asked this question the first time he saw Chen Qingyun. Zhang Wenhui was also stunned, and then she uttered a cry, and her cheeks began to turn red. Chen Qingyun obviously didn't expect that Zhang's uncle would ask such a question, and for a moment he felt at a loss whether to laugh or cry. Looking at this posture, is he trying to be a matchmaker? Why can't I escape the fate of blind dates in this world of cultivation? Taoist partner? Chen Qingyun was also in trouble at this time, so he simply pretended to cough twice and responded with a smile. Senior, you are joking. I am still young and don't have a Taoist partner yet, nor have I thought about looking for one. Since the transaction has been completed, I will take my leave first. I will cooperate with the nobles next time when I need a formation. See you later. As soon as he finished speaking, Chen Qingyun turned and left. Looking at Zhang Lu's attitude, if he chats a few more words, he might really want to be a matchmaker. He has only been in this world for a few years. He has not yet built his foundation and entered the Golden Core Avenue. How can he get married and have children so early? Isn't it nice to be free and easy? Even if you really want to get married, it is not something you should think about now. At least you have to wait until you reach the Purple Mansion stage and have enough freedom. That's right, my friend is gifted, and it is great that you are pursuing the path of cultivation. I am abrupt. If you are free in the future, you might as well come to my Zhang family more often. Seeing Chen Qingyun leaving with an obvious attitude, Zhang Lu didn't force him to stay. He turned to greet Zhang Wenhui, who was bowing his head and blushing. Wenhui, go see Ziyu Chen off. Ah, this. Zhang Wenhui didn't react at first, but when she heard what her father said, she immediately guessed what his father meant. Why do you have to get involved in this kind of thing? Chen Qingyun is still standing here. How embarrassed he is. I'll come too. Zhang Ren tried to smooth things over and greeted Zhang Wenhui. Even though he was a mature man, Zhang Wenhui's coquettishness could not be seen at this moment. Wenhui, please accompany me to see Ziyu Chen off. As the saying goes, like father, like son. His son's little thoughts can also be seen through at a glance. The Chen family and the Zhang family have been on good terms for generations, and many people in the family, whether they are the older or the younger generation, keep in touch with each other. This unique person, Chen Qingyun, has great potential. He is the foundation of the Chen family and has a bright future. My granddaughter is interested in Chen Qingyun, so it's better to bring them together. For the Chen family, this is a good thing to get married. I couldn't ask for it more. Oh. Zhang Wenhui lowered her head and responded. The girl followed Zhang Ren out of the living room and escorted Chen Qingyun away from Zhang's house. Along the way, Zhang Ren would ask a few questions from time to time about the current situation of the Chen family, and Chen Qingyun would give simple answers. Senior Zhang, Miss Zhang, just send them here. After leaving Chu Island, Chen Qingyun said goodbye with a smile. We'll meet again. After saying this, Chen Qingyun took off his cloud boat and took off into the sky. Seeing Chen Qingyun go away, Zhang Wenhui felt a little secretly disappointed, secretly urged Chen Qingyun to use the transmission notes, and told Chen Qingyun to be careful on the road. Seeing his granddaughter's reluctant look, Zhang Ren sighed in his heart. He didn't say much, he just told Zhang Wenhui to practice hard in the future. After taking the formation at Zhang's house, it was already late at night when Chen Qingyun returned to Zhenhai Island. When he saw the message from the transmission talisman, he replied that it had arrived and ignored it, and began to concentrate on tinkering with the formation. Chapter 107, 1 Island, 3 Formations. Training Puppet. It must be said that Zhang Lu is very careful. In the storage bag, there is not only a complete set of spirit gathering array control disk, layout instructions, but also some subsequent array maintenance materials. According to speculation, as long as it is not deliberately destroyed, this spirit gathering array can be used for at least 50 years. With this spirit gathering array, it can not only provide spiritual energy for the simultaneous operation of the 4 symbols Black Tortoise array and the Fiery Sun Demon Slaying array. Moreover, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth gathered here can be better used for cultivation. Try hard and complete the arrangement of this array tonight. After reading the array arrangement instructions, Chen Qingyun got busy alone. Time passed bit by bit. Until the dawn broke in the sky and the world was shining. This spirit gathering array was finally arranged properly, wrapping the fiery sun demon slaying array and the four symbols black tortoise array in the array. Now, 90% of the area of the entire Zhenhai Island is covered by the spirit gathering array. Only the outermost area of the island, those corners, are outside the array. In island, on which 3 sets of formations were arranged at the same time. None of the cultivation families in the Xingsha Islands had such treatment. After completing the formation arrangement, Chen Qingyun carefully felt the changes in the surrounding heaven and earth spiritual energy and found that the concentration of spiritual energy had indeed increased. If the heaven and earth spiritual energy that permeated the surrounding area was 100 strands before, then now it is 150 strands. This gathering spirit formation was also just laid out not long ago. After a few days, the spiritual energy gathered here will gradually increase. Its function, to put it bluntly, is like a whirlpool in the sea, which draws the surrounding seawater into it. Those seawaters are like these heaven and earth spiritual energy. The center of the whirlpool is this Zhenhai Island. Chen Qingyun couldn't wait to sit cross-legged on the spot and began to practice fiery fire shining gold art, absorbing the heaven and earth spiritual energy gathered from the surroundings and entering the state of practice. The surrounding spiritual energy is denser, and the practice efficiency has also been improved a bit. Judging from the current effect improvement alone, it is close to the effect of using a gathering spirit flower on the 3-flower gathering spirit platform. Now Chen Qingyun's cultivation is already at the 9th level of qi refining. He only needs to polish his cultivation and consolidate this realm before he can try to build his foundation. The source of the foundation pill will depend on Yishi Island in 2 months. Putting aside all distractions, Chen Qingyun took out the double flower gathering spirit platform and used it to assist in cultivation. The 2 gathering spirit flowers quickly absorbed the spiritual energy of heaven and earth gathered around them, bringing Chen Qingyun a further increase in cultivation. His current cultivation speed, with this blessing, is enough to rival a double spiritual root cultivator. Not long after finishing the cultivation of the technique, facing the rising sun, Chen Qingyun turned to practice the Great Sun Visualization Sutra as usual. After practicing for a stick of incense, his understanding of this technique has improved a few points. It is only a matter of time before he breaks through the 4th level of the technique. He has completed his daily practice. Chen Qingyun got up and went to the weapon refining workshop, where he saw Chen Bekai and others working hard to produce the prototype of the flying sword. Chen Qingyun counted the number of red iron swords. So far, the number of flying sword prototypes that have been produced has reached 13. 3 production lines are producing day and night, and 12 flying sword prototypes can be produced in one day. As the Chen family's mortals become more and more skilled, the production rate is also steadily increasing. Chen Qingyun calculated the refining loss. About 50 kilograms of waste materials are lost in one day. Converted into spirit stones, it is equivalent to about 9 spirit stones. This loss can be said to be very small. If Chen Qingyun himself refines 13 red iron swords, at least 5 or 6 red iron swords will fail to be refined. One red iron sword costs 55 spirit stones. However, in order to minimize material loss, Chen Qingyun called Chen Bekai that day and added a quality inspection task to him. Master, Immortal, what is quality inspection? Why have I never heard of it? Hearing such a new word, Chen Bekai was confused. Chen Qingyun was used to thinking from his past life, so he realized that Chen Bekai would not understand this, and explained it immediately. Chen Bekai was refreshed after hearing this. It turned out that he was asked to check the size and quality of the raw materials, including the quality control of shaping and other links. If there is a problem, correct it in time. This is not difficult. Master, Immortal, I will also take care of the quality inspection, so you can rest assured. Chen Bekai patted his chest and said, I will definitely get it done for you. Since he was assigned to work in the refining workshop and became the leader here, he has been in a good mood recently. He is already planning to work here for 4 or 5 years, save some money, and then he can get married. Being valued and promoted by Master Immortal is something that others dare not dream of. Arrange Chen Bekai's quality inspection and management. Regarding the sale of these red iron swords, Chen Qingyun decided to reach a cooperation with the family. After the refining of this batch of red iron swords is completed, he will take over the refining of the family's red iron swords. Regarding the specific profit sharing, Chen Xianmin recently sent a message saying that he would not take this bargain for nothing. In the next few days, he will discuss with the family's cultivators and give a portion of the profit to Chen Qingyun. From the idea of the weapon refining workshop to practice, the transformation of the fire control array, the forging of the furnace, etc. These are all built up bit by Chen Qingyun with great effort and finally realized. Chen Xianmin could predict the effort involved. The family will not treat anyone who benefits the family badly. After watching the production of the 3 production lines for a while, Chen Qingyun put away the prototypes of 13 flying swords, turned around and entered the weapon refining room on the side. After taking out the soul puppet, Chen Qingyun looked at it quietly for a while. The puppet was motionless, standing blankly like a wooden man with a dull expression. This kind of soul puppet is a very special kind of existence. According to Wanjiantu, it does not have any cultivation level, does not belong to the category of magical weapons, cannot be strengthened, and is not the same type as the 5 elements puppet. This also more and more reflects the particularity of the 5 elements puppet. Made with the soul of a monk from the Zhao family, Chen Qingyun is not so resistant now. Why do you mind driving the Zhao family monks to make money for the Chen family? I don't care whether you have cultivation level or not, you just need to be able to store spiritual thoughts, have the ability to move, and be able to carve formation patterns. Following the activation steps, Chen Qingyun dropped a drop of blood on the palm of the puppet. The blood quickly integrated into its body, and the puppet was activated and established a connection with him. This kind of relationship is not equal, but the kind between master and servant. As the master of this puppet, Chen Qingyun can decide the life or death of the other person in a single thought, and this puppet is only devoted to Chen Qingyun. Whatever Chen Qingyun wants it to do, it will do it. In terms of energy consumption, it needs to be driven by spiritual stones. It takes about 1 spiritual stone to operate normally for 1 day. Specifically, the more things you are engaged in, the more spiritual stones you will consume to use your spiritual thoughts. Raise your hands. Kick. Twirl around. He ordered the puppet to try some actions continuously, and the puppet followed them one by one. Because of the characteristics of the soul, this puppet is now a blank piece of paper. You can draw many things on this white paper to teach this puppet to learn. Naturally, you can learn the inscription formation. Don't let me down if you can perform the inscription formation specifically. Whether the puppet can imprint the formation depends on tonight. Chen Qingyun took a deep breath and began to train the puppet. Using spiritual thoughts as a guide, teach it to learn the 2 patterns of the red iron sword. Chapter 108. It's done. Alarming the family, this soul puppet possesses divine thoughts. What's more, this Yishang knows some ways of refining weapons and has some foundation in refining weapons. Just learning 2 formation patterns, coupled with the superior learning ability of the soul puppet, learning the inscription formation is not a problem. It took a full hour for the puppet to master this first storage formation pattern. The second formation pattern after that took more than 2 hours. Although it took a little too much time, and the night passed in the blink of an eye, it went smoothly. Finally, the method of engraving the formation pattern has been recorded. From today on, I will call you the inscription formation puppet. After successfully completing the entry of the formation pattern, Chen Qingyun looked ecstatic and gave the puppet a good name. He took out a flying sword prototype. The last step of the Mingzhen is the appearance of the Mingzhen puppet. Success or failure depends on this. Chen Qingyun ordered the Mingzhen puppet to start the Mingzhen. The inscription formation puppet received the command and began to move mechanically, inscribing the first storage formation pattern. Chen Qingyun paid attention to its movements, with a somewhat nervous expression on his face. It seems like a mechanical movement, but in fact compared to Chen Qingyun doing it himself. No matter the range of movement, strength, engraving angle, etc. They are all too precise. This is also a benefit brought by the mechanical industry. It can be operated accurately and the error rate is much lower than that of human beings. Moreover, the puppet will not feel tired. It only needs one spiritual stone as energy to run for a day. As the last stroke of the first formation pattern came to an end, the red iron sword glowed with light from the formation pattern. The first formation pattern was successfully engraved. There's drama. Seeing this, Chen Qingyun couldn't help but smile. Continuing to watch, the second formation pattern began to be inscribed. The puppet of the inscription formation changed the method of the inscription formation, and every move was very delicate. Under Chen Qingyun's expectant gaze, he didn't wait too long, and the last beautiful finishing touches of the second array pattern were engraved and completed. Wow! The red iron sword flashed with light from the formation pattern, and then it was activated, exuding an aura of a first-order low-grade magic weapon. It really worked. Seeing that the red iron sword was successfully refined, Chen Qingyun's face showed a look of ecstasy. It only takes one stick of incense, or about 10 minutes, to complete the inscription on a flying sword. The idea of refining magic weapons without cultivation has now been realized. How can we not be excited? The release of this red iron sword means that there is no need to take action personally in the future. It only requires the help of Chen family mortals to refine the red iron sword. This is definitely a disruptive innovation. This weapon refining workshop was officially established from this moment on. The Chen clan's immortal clan, can no longer rely on the weapon refiner to refine the red iron sword. Second, Grandpa and fifth sister don't need to spend more time refining the red iron sword. With the existence of this refining workshop, the family can build hematite into a stable resource industry. In this case, are you afraid that you won't be able to earn spiritual stones? You won't be able to earn training resources? Chen Qingyun was so excited at this time that he couldn't help laughing, and felt a sense of relief. The two problems of fire control formation and inscription formation were solved, which gave Chen Qingyun a huge sense of satisfaction. The idea of mass-producing hematite swords finally came to fruition. Once this place is developed and expanded, it will be completely built into a giant weapon refining workshop, and new magical weapon refining will be developed, so that the types of magical weapons will flourish. Do we still have to worry about the Chen family not being able to develop? This is a huge money tree. After enduring the excitement in his heart, his eyes returned to the Mingzhen puppet. In order to make it easier for mortals to control its inscription formation, its activities must be restricted for safety reasons. I thought about it for a while. Chen Qingyun had an idea and entered the three simple commands of start, stop, and inscription array into the Mingzhen puppet. These commands are only applicable to the refining of magic weapons, and their mobility is limited. Outsiders may as well order it to do things other than these three instructions. The simpler the instructions, the easier it is to control. If there are any shortcomings in the future, just improve and supplement. This time the problem of the Ming formation was completely overcome. Chen Qingyun informed Chen Qingyun of the good news immediately. After hearing this, Chen Qingyun had a look of disbelief on his face. Can you engrave formation patterns without relying on the weapon refiner? Qingyun, this Mingzhen puppet is so powerful. After a while, it's in the inscription formation? Seeing the detailed and precise movements of the inscription formation puppet, which was inscribing the formation patterns, Chen Qingyun had a look of surprise on his face, feeling incredible. This is the first time she has seen that a puppet can inscribe the formation. We are really in Mingzhen. Yes, it will complete the entire inscription formation process of the red iron sword, and the success rate is extremely high. Chen Qingyun introduced with a smile and ordered the inscription formation puppet to start inscribing the second formation pattern. This set of procedures continued until the last formation inscription was completed. The red iron sword came out, and Chen Qingyun opened his mouth wide. Oh, my God, I really really made a red iron sword. The shock in Chen Qingyun's heart was indescribable. She looked at the hematite sword in her hand and could feel the aura of the magic weapon fluctuating. This is indeed a first-order low-grade magic weapon. If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, it would be hard for her to believe it. This weapon refining workshop can produce red iron swords without the help of a weapon refining master or the envoy's true energy. This is simply unheard of. Chen Qingyun, who had always been calm, could no longer remain calm. She began to ask about the operating principle of the inscription array puppet and how the array pattern was engraved. Chen Qingyun answered one by one and told her that it was a soul puppet. Chen Qingyun was sometimes surprised by Chen Qingyun's imagination. She was only stunned for a moment because there was a soul of a Zhao family cultivator and the inscription array puppet. She immediately thought that this was nothing, and looked at Chen Qingyun deeply, not asking more about it. Then, what about the operating cost of this inscription array puppet? Is it high? Considering that it is used to produce red iron swords, Chen Qingyun thought about the cost consumption. Chen Qingyun calculated it. The inscription array consumes a lot of spiritual power. To engrave the array pattern of 5 red iron swords, you need to use up the spiritual power of a spiritual stone. Well, that means that in terms of spiritual stones, 1 spiritual stone is consumed to produce 5 red iron swords. Yes. Chen Qingyun suddenly realized. 5th sister, this weapon refining workshop is still in its initial stage and will continue to be improved in the future. If you have any good ideas, you can bring them up and we will make it bigger and better together. Xinhai Island is large enough to expand the weapon refining workshop. The recent premium of magic tools has also ushered in a wave of money-making spirit stones. 5 red iron swords only need to invest 1 spirit stone, plus some labor costs, and can make a net profit of at least 270 spirit stones. What is there to hesitate about? The current red iron sword has increased in price to 55 spirit stones, and it is still selling well. Seeing the profits here, Chen Qingyun couldn't help but admire his cousin. Not only did he dare to think and do, but he also realized his ideas. Seeing that the weapon refining workshop had started to operate and was producing magic tools, Chen Qingyun's eyebrows were full of smiles, and he and Chen Qingyun were very happy at a glance. This good news was notified to the family at noon that day by Chen Qingyun. After the family learned about it, the whole family was shocked. Chen Daoran and Chen Douhai flew to Xinhai Island immediately. If Chen Xianmin hadn't been worried about the Zhao family spying on him and needed to stay in the Klein land, he would have already set up his flying sword and followed along. He couldn't sit still and wanted to come over to take a look. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 109 Red Clawed Crab's Attack. The Scorching Sun Bow shows its power. In the past, a refiner was needed to inscribe the prototype of the flying sword. Now, a refiner is no longer needed to participate in order to refine the red iron sword. How is this possible? As the strongest refiner in the family, Chen Daoran thought about this question all the way, but he couldn't figure it out. I'm also puzzled. Chen Douhai also looked eager to learn. At first, the two of them were a little unconvinced. Until they spent half a day in the refinery workshop and saw the mortals of the family skillfully assisting in the refining of the magic weapon. Then the inscription puppet was inscribed, and red iron swords were produced one after another, which shocked them for a long time. Chen Daoran pinched himself and found that this was indeed not a dream, and then he was ecstatic. That night, Chen Qingyun discussed with Chen Daoran and Chen Douhai to completely transfer their family's red iron sword refining to Xinhai Island. This proposal immediately received the nod of agreement from the two. The two elders flew back to Linjian Island together. The weapon refining workshop was completely formed, and Chen Qingyun no longer had to spend time inscription on the red iron sword. When all the red iron in his hands was refined, The refining of the family's red iron swords would be transferred to Zhenhai Island. At the same time. Regarding the existence of this weapon refining workshop, Chen Xianming issued an order to keep it a family secret. It was forbidden for the clan members to spread it outside to avoid being coveted and causing trouble. 20 days passed in a blink of an eye. Chen Qingyun's 309 pieces of red iron were also refined. So far, the number of red iron swords produced has reached 288. Chen Qingyun packed these red iron swords in a storage bag. That night, he entered the weapon refining room and started to refine the magic weapon himself. This refining lasted for a day. A total of 5 tortoise shell shields were produced. The difference is that this tortoise shell shield is a little different, with a larger shape and thicker. The raw materials for refining the tortoise shell shield are silver core stone and 100 forged steel. This time, Chen Qingyun used the silver core stone and black crystal copper purchased from Zhuxiantu, and then added 100 forged steel to make it. It is precisely because of the addition of the common material black crystal copper that the defense of the tortoise shell shield has become stronger. After the successful refining, the grades of the 5 tortoise shell shields have all reached the first grade medium grade. I looked at the current enhancement points. Enhancement points, 10 after 6 enhancement points were smashed. A tortoise shell shield was upgraded to the first grade top grade and used as a weapon for the gold puppet. Among the 4 5-element puppets, 3 are mainly used for attack and 1 is used for defense, so that they can better cooperate in combat. After the grade of this tortoise shell shield was upgraded, it was not appropriate to call it a tortoise shell shield. It was no longer the original tortoise shell shield because of the addition of black crystal copper. These 5 tortoise shell shields will be called black tortoise shields. Chen Qingyun thought of a name. Enhancement points, for looking at the current enhancement points, there are only a pitiful 4 points left. Chen Qingyun touched his chin and thought for a while, then took out all the 288 red iron swords. Selling these red iron swords can be exchanged for 15,840 spiritual stones. The family can't afford so much money to exchange so many red iron swords for the family at once. With the existence of the weapon refining workshop, the family lacks red iron swords, so they can just produce them here day and night, and there is no need to purchase them from Chen Qingyun. It is better to decompose some of them, and then strengthen some of them to the first-class upper grade to become the Red Sky Sword for sale, so as to play a greater value. Decompose the red iron sword. Chen Qingyun selected 238 red iron swords to decompose. These red iron swords turned into light and disappeared. Strengthening points plus 238 reached 242 strengthening points. The remaining 50 red iron swords, 150 strengthening points were smashed, and all upgraded to the first-class upper grade. 50 Zhuxiantu swords, 650 spirit stones for each sword, that's 32,500 spirit stones. After calculating the profit this time, Chen Qingyun's eyes lit up. After this operation, there were 92 points left for strengthening magic tools in the future. After completing the equipment upgrade and leaving the refinery room, Chen Qingyun noticed that there was movement in the spirit gathering array. Someone attacked Zhenhai Island? With this thought in mind, Chen Qingyun did not dare to neglect it at all, and immediately performed the light body technique and flew out of the refinery room. When he came to the outside of the array, he saw several fiery red creatures waving their huge claws to attack the array barrier of the spirit gathering array. Crabs. Chen Qingyun took a look and noticed that these crabs were not small in size. The largest one was the size of an elephant, and the smallest one was the size of a wild boar. Look at their huge, hard, red crab shells, 6 legs, and a pair of wide and sharp crab claws. Chen Qingyun recognized the origin of this monster. It's a red-clawed crab. Red-clawed crabs are relatively common in the Star Sea. They are carnivorous monsters. They basically eat all animals except their own kind. They like to gather, lay eggs, and build nests in places with rich spiritual energy. In the past 3 years, no red-clawed crabs have landed on Zhenhai Island. It appears now, it seems that the spiritual energy gathered by the gathering spirit array has attracted the nearby red-clawed crabs here. After counting, there are a total of 6 red-clawed crabs, with strengths ranging from the 1st to the 9th level of Qi refining. If we don't clean them up at this time, it will disturb the peace. The Gathering Spirit Array is not a defensive formation. If it is attacked a few hundred times, the formation will be damaged. This is a treasure worth 3,000 spirit stones. Chen Qingyun flipped his palm and took out the fire puppet. These red armored crabs are not something he would do personally. The fire puppet jumped down from Chen Qingyun's palm and turned into the size of a man. Chen Qingyun touched the storage bag with his palm and took out the burning sun bow. The fire puppet stretched out his hand to take the blazing sun bow without stepping forward. Under Chen Qingyun's command, he made a gesture of drawing the bow and shooting an arrow. Pulling the bow like a full moon, the magic power on the bow gathered in the scorching sun condensed into an arrow. Aiming at the red armored crab at the 9th level of Qi refining, the fire puppet released its right hand. Call out. A fiery red arrow shot out like a shooting star, and the light it emitted was extremely dazzling in the night sky. The locked red armored crab was covered with crab armor. Ordinary first-level mid-level magic weapons could hardly break through its crab armor. These few months. Relying on its own strength and strong defense, it has hunted down several casual cultivators in the sea area and killed a caravan going out to sea. At this time. In its view, Chen Qingyun and the fire puppet are just delicacies in its belly. You can hunt at will, even facing the arrows that burst out. The red armored crab relied on its own defense to resist, just like it had hunted those casual cultivators before. It just met him head-on. Boom. There was an explosion. This red armored crab would never dream of it. The defense that he was so proud of was so vulnerable that he was directly shot by an arrow, scattering large pieces of crab armor. Chapter 110. The 6th elder of the family. This red-shelled crab at the 9th level of Qi refining was shot dead by an arrow before it could even launch an attack. The remaining 5 red-shelled crabs, seeing one of their companions being shot dead, all looked in the direction of the fire puppet. When they saw that it was a human, they all gave up attacking the formation barrier and rushed towards the fire puppet. Despite their large size, they were not clumsy at all. There was still more than 500 meters away, and the fire puppet opened its bow again, aiming at a red-shelled crab. Swish. The arrow shot across the sky. This arrow was simply a suppressive shot, and once again a red-shelled crab was shot to pieces. The fire puppet had the strength of the 9th level of Qi refining, plus a first-grade top-grade sun bow. Let alone these red-shelled crabs. Even a cultivator at the 9th level of Qi refining would be skinned alive if you faced such a battle. Seeing that the fire puppet could control the sun bow and unleash such impressive attack power from a long distance, Chen Qingyun nodded with satisfaction. Next, it was Chen Qingyun's unilateral hunting. The red-clawed crabs that originally regarded Chen Qingyun as prey now became prey instead. The strength and speed of these red-clawed crabs were far inferior to those of the fire puppet. After the sun bow launched an attack, it was difficult for them to dodge the arrows that were shot out. After shooting 4 arrows in succession and killing 4 red-clawed crabs, the remaining one had already rushed to the front of the fire puppet, ready to launch an attack, trying to cut the puppet in half. Chen Qingyun had already predicted it, and sacrificed the gold puppet. Standing in front of the fire puppet. The red-clawed crab waved its 1-meter-long crab claws and stabbed the fire puppet fiercely, bringing with it a pungent smell of blood. A golden arm was raised, and with a clang, it blocked the red-clawed crab's stab. This is the gold puppet making a move. With its strong defense, it blocked the attack of the red-clawed crab with one hand. The red-clawed crab paused. It obviously didn't expect that the opponent, who looked so small, could actually withstand such a stab. It was about to swing its crab claws to clamp the gold puppet. The next moment, a meteor arrow burst out. With a bang. The last red-clawed crab was shot and exploded into a blood mist. The 6 red-clawed crabs were wiped out before they launched an attack on Chen Qingyun. The fragmented bodies of red-clawed crabs were scattered on the beach, and some of the land was scorched earth. The first time the fire puppet used the sun bow in actual combat, the effect achieved satisfied Chen Qingyun. After all, long-distance output and attack are all about speed, accuracy and ruthlessness. The attack must be fast, powerful and accurate. The Fire Puppet King meet the above requirements when paired with the Sun Bow. The gold puppets were used in actual combat and also showed amazing defensive power. The only thing to note is that this set of attacks will not work against a foundation building cultivator, and may not even break the opponent's defense. Put away the two puppets and clean up the red crab corpses on the ground. Those crab shells and a pair of crab claws can be used to refine 2 or 3 magic tools. As for the demon pills, there are 3 well-preserved ones, which are worth about 60 spirit stones. Fly legs are also meat. The value is more than a red iron sword. The next day, in the morning, after Chen Qingyun finished watering the spiritual field, he noticed something unusual. He looked closely and found that it was the family's communication flying sword that was outside the formation. He took down the flying sword and read the information in it. The family was going to hold a meeting to discuss the matter of the weapon refining workshop. Chen Qingyun did not delay and set off to the Spirit Sword Island. Chen family. Meeting hall. Chen Qingyun was the last to arrive. When they entered the hall, Chen Douhai, Chen Daoran, Chen Qingyun, and Chen Qingfeng were all present. There were 8 people present at this meeting, all of whom were family cultivators above the 3rd level of Qi training. Qingyun, please sit down quickly. Chen Xianmin greeted with a smile. Everyone's eyes were focused on Chen Qingyun. Everyone had guessed the purpose of this family meeting. In recent days, Chen Qingyun had established a weapon refining workshop on Zhenhai Island, and the cultivators in the family had already known about it. While they were curious, they were also a little bit unbelievable. It turned out that the red iron sword could be refined without the participation of a refiner. This was the news brought back by Chen Daoran, the family's first refiner, who went to Zhenhai Island to observe. The Chen family can expand the production of red iron swords, and there is no need for a refiner to participate. What does this mean? Everyone present looked excited, and the smiles on their faces were clearly visible. Since everyone is here, I will get down to business. Not long ago, Qingyun built a weapon refining workshop on Zhenhai Island. In the workshop, red iron swords can be produced with the participation of mortals in the family. When everyone heard this, they thought that he was talking about this matter. However, many people present did not go to Zhenhai Island and did not see the authenticity of the weapon refining workshop. They still felt that it was a little incredible. It was unheard of before that a red iron sword could be refined without the participation of a weapon refiner. It was like a fairy tale. The second elder Chen Daoran stroked his long beard and said with a smile on his face, "I have already investigated the real situation in the workshop. It is indeed as the clan leader said. This time Qingyun has made great contributions to the family. As the first weapon refiner in the family, Chen Daoran is highly respected and convincing in both his ability and character. With him coming forward to verify this matter, there is no false situation. Chen Qingyun's weapon refinery workshop was really established, and it can produce red iron swords without the participation of weapon refiners. No one dared to think of this before. Chen Qingyun and others were amazed. There is no doubt that this matter is true. I know you are confused and curious about how to produce red iron swords with the power of mortals. When you have time in the future, you can go to Zhenhai Island to see it yourself." Chen Xianmin said slowly. "Well, it seems that our Chen family is going to change its luck." Chen Dalan smiled and looked at Chen Qingyun with admiration. "You are really young and formidable. At the beginning, the clan leader and your second grandfather guided you to learn the art of refining instruments. I didn't expect that you would be able to give back to the family so soon and bring such a great return to the family." Chen Qingfeng, Chen Qingyun and others all smiled. The Chen family is getting better and better, which is what they want to see. Everyone has seen how busy Chen Daoran has been refining instruments recently, and they feel sorry for the old man. Now that the refining workshop has been established, we can mass-produce red iron swords in the future, and the family's income will gradually increase. You all know that the prices of instruments in various markets in the Star Sea have risen, and there is already a situation of supply exceeding demand. There are Taoist friends who have just entered the world of cultivation everywhere. The most abundant thing in the Star Sea is cultivators, so we mass produce red iron swords and don't worry about not being able to sell them. As soon as Chen Xianmin finished speaking, everyone nodded slowly. The Star Sea monster tide is coming, and the number of cultivators recruited by the Star Sect is at least more than 10,000. Just these 10,000 people each purchased a magic weapon, so you can imagine how huge the demand for magic weapons is. And these cultivators are all aiming for the first level middle grade and first level upper grade magic weapons. Because the demand for purchasing this level of lower grade magic weapons is very small, many weapon refiners will not refine them for the time being. The Chen family has long opened up the magic weapon market with the water and fire Taoist robes. The red iron sword has received rave reviews, so it is naturally easy to sell. It seems that the patriarch wants to transfer the production of the red iron sword to Zhenhai Island. Chen Daolin said. I proposed this. Chen Daolin continued. In the future, red iron swords can all be produced on Zhenhai Island. Daohai and Qingfeng don't have to go there every month to bring the red iron back to the family. This can also save some manpower. Our Chen family is already short of manpower. Good idea. Chen Daolin nodded slowly and thought it was a good idea. Seeing that the two Dao brothers had no objections, the patriarch also proposed it. Others would not say anything, and they all agreed to this matter at the first time. The weapon refining workshop was conceived and built by Qingyun alone, and it took a lot of effort. The family naturally cannot take advantage of it for nothing. I discussed the profit sharing of the red iron sword with Daolin and decided to give 20% of the profit to Qingyun. Hearing the 20% profit sharing, Chen Qingyun and others showed envy. This red iron sword industry is a long-term investment in production and continues to make profits for the family. Over the years, it is conceivable how much benefit the 20% profit sharing can bring to Chen Qingyun. Everyone had no objection to this and felt that it was justified. The family's reward mechanism has always been like this. The profit sharing matter has been settled. The second thing to say is to appoint the sixth elder of the family. Chen Xianmin glanced at everyone and then his eyes fell on Chen Qingyun. Chapter 111 Foundation Building Pill Plan and a Small Goal. Qingyun has made great contributions to the family, first with the psychedelic island spiritual veins, and then with the weapon refining workshop. Some time ago, I also gave you a first-class magic weapon. You all see it. In addition, his current cultivation level has reached the 9th level of Qi refining. Then according to the clan rules, let him serve as the 6th elder of the clan. Do you have any objections? Chen Xianmin just finished speaking. Chen Qingfeng laughed and said, Qingyun has brought so many contributions to the family. If he can't serve as an elder, then I, the 5th elder, will have no shame. No objection. No objection. Yes, it's long past time for Qingyun to assume the position of elder. Following Chen Qingfeng, Chen Daohai also nodded. I agree with this. I agree too. Chen Daolin also responded. Seeing that the three family elders had no objections, and thinking of Chen Qingyun's contribution to the family and his kindness to them, everyone present smiled and nodded in agreement. Having one more elder in the family is also beneficial to the family. From now on. At the age of 19, Chen Qingyun became the first elder in the Qing generation. He is also one of the several powerful people in the family. In the future, the salary will also rise to the elder level, providing more resources for practice. No longer need to be assigned by the family to perform family tasks. For Chen Qingyun, he naturally would not refuse. The 6th elder of the family was appointed. At the end of the meeting, there was the matter of Patriarch Han refining the foundation establishment pill. Chen Xianmin also got this news recently, and took advantage of this meeting to discuss with everyone to buy a foundation building pill for Chen Qingyun from Yishi Island. Qingyun can plan to build the foundation now. This foundation building pill should be given to him first. Let's make some plans and buy a foundation building pill for Qingyun first. Chen Xianmin looked serious. Chen Daolin and others also nodded slowly. Everyone present hopes that the family will have one more foundation building monk, and they all feel that the family should fight for a foundation building pill for Chen Qingyun. This will be the same even if their future cultivation reaches the 9th level of qi refining. Yishidao is far away from us, and we still have less than 2 months to prepare. I'm thinking about producing more red iron swords during this period and transporting them to Yishi Island for sale. Coupled with some of the family's spiritual stone storage, it is not difficult to gather more than 10,000 spiritual stones. Chen Xianming said. The problem of spirit stones is easy to solve, but Chen Qingyun has no idea of building a foundation. Qingyun, what do you think? Chen Xianming looked at Chen Qingyun, and everyone's eyes also fell on Chen Qingyun. Chen Qingyun pondered for a while and said, Clan Chief, I'm afraid it's not appropriate to use the family's profits to purchase the foundation establishment pill for me. The family needs spiritual stones to run. This is at least 10,000 spiritual stones, which is not a small amount of money. No. As soon as Chen Qingyun finished speaking, Chen Xianming shook his head. You have made great contributions to the family, so the family can't seek more benefits for you and think about you. Gifts can also be mutual. The old patriarch's words made Chen Qingyun smile bitterly for a moment. It's really hard to respond well. How about this? Chen Qingyun thought of his family's merit points. After exchanging the Shuan white stone and the purple Qian meshed pill, I still have 620 merit points left. These meritorious deeds are exchanged for spiritual stones. When the time comes, we will see the final transaction price of the foundation establishment pill. I will make up for the missing spiritual stones. Chen Qingyun suggested. With the foundation establishment pill to build the foundation, it can reduce the risk of death, so he is naturally willing. He didn't want to go back in time and live for 10 or 20 years before his pursuit of the road to immortality would end in the process of building the foundation. As for buying the foundation establishment pill with your own money, and buying it with your family, as long as the family doesn't lose money in the end, that's all. I don't want to take the family's foundation building pill for nothing. You don't have to worry about the family's financial situation. Don't look at the fact that the family doesn't have much money on the surface. In fact, except for part of it being used in exchange for training resources and allocated to you for training, there are still more than 8,000 spirit stones in the family treasury. Chen Xianming said with a smile. Chen Dohai and others were surprised when they heard that there were so many spiritual stones in the clan library. Recently, due to the sale of the red iron sword and water and fire robes, I sold most of the accumulated red iron, and then exchanged it for more than 5,000 spiritual stones. Otherwise, where do you think these spiritual stones come from? Chen Xianming was in a good mood, with a smile on his face and a joke. I'm an old man, but I don't have the ability to conjure spiritual stones out of thin air. I still have to save them one by one. Everyone smiled when they heard this. In such a happy atmosphere, everyone finally decided to set off for Yishi Island a month later. According to the news, Ancestor Han will refine the foundation establishment pill in 2 months. If we go there again after 2 months, I'm afraid I won't even see the shadow of the foundation establishment pill, and someone will have bought it long ago. If you leave a month in advance, you will also spend some time on the road. Arrive at Yishi Island early to get more information and try to increase the chance of obtaining the foundation establishment pill. At the same time, if there are any remaining spiritual stones, some cultivation resources will be purchased from Yishi Island and brought back to be distributed to the family monks. Liu Yunsha, which is used to refine water and fire robes, needs to be purchased recently. To sum up, I have to go to Yishi Island. Is the first immortal cultivation market in Xinghai. The prosperity of Yishi Island is far beyond the comparison of markets such as Hia and Xinglan. At that time, many cultivators and family forces will gather on Yishi Island to get the foundation building pill. This trip to Yishi Island will be very lively. If you don't bring more spirit stones, you really don't have the confidence. After the meeting, the family will take over the production of the weapon refining workshop today, and strive to produce 300 red iron swords within this month. Accumulate more spirit stones to prepare for the purchase of foundation building pills. Chen Xianmin set a short-term small goal. 1 month, 300 red iron swords. Equivalent to 16,500 spirit stones. This amount of refining must be completed within a month, which was once something the Chen family dared not think of. Even if Chen Daoren did not eat or drink, and refined day and night for a month, at most he could only produce 100 red iron swords. 300. This would require Chen Qingyun and Chen Qingyun to do the hard work. At the end of the meeting, Chen Dalin and others reported the income of various resources. It is worth mentioning that the cultivation of spiritual scallops has achieved more significant results, with an annual income of more than 300 spiritual stones than before. The meat of the spiritual scallop can be eaten, which has the effect of clearing the eyes and mind and unblocking the tendons and veins. The price is 10 kilograms of spiritual stones. The fan beads produced in the scallops contain some water spirit energy, which can be used for water attribute monks to practice. 1 fan bead is worth 2 spiritual stones. This industry has been cultivated on the southern coast of Linjian Island. This time, the family will also increase the cultivation of spiritual scallops. At the end of the meeting, Chen Xianming exhorted Chen Qingyun. Qingyun, when you return to Zhenhai Island this time, go to the psychedelic island. By the way, your 7th uncle has something to ask you. Okay, I'll go today. Chen Qingyun nodded slightly. Last time on Zhenhai Island, Chen Daohai mentioned mysteriously that his 7th uncle Chen Qingzi had something for him. It's not clear what it is, we have to go and see it. It's just right. I'm going to the psychedelic island today to visit Uncle Qi. When the meeting is over, everyone leaves. As soon as he left the hall, Chen Daohai called Chen Qingyun. Qingyun, wait a moment. Chapter 112 Chen Daohai and number 039 S choice, visit to the psychedelic island. 6th Grandpa. Chen Qingyun stopped and looked at Chen Daohai in front of him, smiling and greeting him. In 2 or 3 months, you will probably have built your foundation. I called you this time to tell you that I, an old man, am going to retreat recently. Retreat? Chen Qingyun's expression froze. He noticed Chen Daohai's cultivation level, which was already at the peak of the 8th level of qi refining. This retreat was obviously to impact the 9th level of qi refining. Yes, retreat. Chen Daohai nodded and said seriously. I plan to break through to the 9th level of qi refining, and then practice blood condensation true essence Qingguang to build the foundation. I have practiced for most of my life. If I can't reach the foundation building stage, I will regret it for the rest of my life, and the family will need to add 1 or 2 foundation building cultivators. I think as long as I break through to the foundation building stage before the Star Sea monster tide arrives, by then, I will have some ability to protect you on the battlefield, and the problem of ruining the path later will no longer be so important to me. Chen Qingyun listened quietly, and couldn't help showing a solemn expression. Does the clan leader know about this? He said with some emotion in his heart. Once you build the foundation through the blood condensation true essence Qingguang, you will not be able to make any progress in the future, and you will always stay in the early stage of foundation building. 6th Grandpa, this matter is very serious. Have you thought it through? The clan leader knows. Chen Daohai looked serious, and it was the first time that Chen Qingyun saw him look so serious. Qingyun, for me, I am already half dead, and I am very lucky to have the opportunity to build my foundation again. I also know that I am mediocre in talent, and the foundation building stage is the peak of my cultivation. The higher purple mansion, or even the golden elixir, is the mountain you hope to climb, but I can't. Behind the mountain is the scenery you can see. I am old, and my body is not as strong as before, and I lack the youthful vitality. It is good for me to reach the foundation building stage and benefit the family. Chen Daohai's words made Chen Qingyun fall into silence, and he didn't know whether he was happy or sad. Although this blood coagulation true essence Gong has a 1/3 chance of building a foundation, but with the essence and blood to condense the true essence, once the foundation fails, the blood will be exhausted and the cultivation will regress. There are still certain risks, and it is not that the failure of the foundation building can be safe. Chen Qingyun even hesitated a little. If time could go back, should he have handed over the blood coagulation true essence Gong to the family? It is not known whether this is good or bad. After a moment of silence, knowing that the old man in front of him had made up his mind, it was difficult to say anything. Chen Qingyun forced a smile and said sincerely, "Then I wish 6th Grandpa a smooth foundation building." Chen Dehai was cheerful, patted Chen Qingyun on the shoulder, laughed and said, "You have to work hard too. Maybe I will build a foundation before you, don't let me surpass you." It would be great if 6th Grandpa builds a foundation first. As soon as the voice fell, Chen Dehai said no more. He looked at Chen Qingyun deeply, told him to practice well, and turned away. Watching Chen Dehai gradually go away, Chen Qingyun vaguely saw a kind of determination to sacrifice his life in his back. This time, 6th Grandpa made a great determination to build a foundation. After watching for a long time, Chen Qingyun withdrew his thoughts and got up and left. Flying away from Lingjian Island. According to Chen Xianming's instructions, this time, Chen Qingyun did not fly directly to Zhenhai Island, but flew to the direction of Psychedelic Island first. Galloping on the sea, resting frequently, replenishing mana, Chen Qingyun arrived at Psychedelic Island a day later. On Psychedelic Island, a second-grade superior island-circling formation is open all day long, which is a few points stronger than the 4-elephant black tortoise formation on Zhenhai Island. Since the Chen family took back the Psychedelic Island, Chen Xianming contacted the Zhang family that day and spent 2,400 spirit stones to build a set of 4-elephant vermilion bird formation to protect the spiritual island. Chen Qingyun landed on the island, put away the flying cloud boat, and contacted the Chen family cultivator who was guarding the spiritual field here. After a while, a figure came out. It's Uncle Qingyun. The one who came was Chen Nyanxia, a cultivator of the Chen family with the character Nyan. When he saw Chen Qingyun, he immediately looked happy. Chen Qingyun's little nephew, 14 years old this year, has the 3 spiritual roots of fire, wood and earth, and has reached the 2nd level of qi refining. Originally, according to the family rules of the Chen family, family monks under the age of 16 can stay in the family to practice and do not need to take on family labor tasks. However, there are few Chen family monks now, and there is a shortage of manpower on the Psychedelic Island. The family had no choice but to send him to help Chen Qingzi take care of the spiritual field. The little nephew is also sensible, hard-working and willing to contribute to the family. After being assigned by the family, he packed his luggage and followed Chen Qingzi to the Psychedelic Island. Nyanxia. Chen Qingyun greeted with a smile and was led by Chen Nyanxia into the Psychedelic Island. Along the way, the little nephew seemed very happy. He had heard about the deeds of his 6th uncle and was full of respect in his heart. In a short distance of a few hundred meters, Chen Qingyun asked about the little nephew's life on the island. Is he used to it? The little nephew answered one by one. He just murmured that there were no peers to play with on this island, but everything else was good. When the two arrived at the spiritual field area, in front of several thatched houses, Chen Qingzi had just finished the task of removing insects from the spiritual field. When he saw Chen Qingyun appear here, he quickly stood up to greet him. "Qingyun, you finally came to see me." "Uncle," she smiled and joked. From his face, Chen Qingyun saw that the other party's complexion was better than before. But the white hair was still so conspicuous. Chen Qingyun couldn't imagine what it felt like to have white hair overnight. He felt deep sympathy for this uncle. Under Chen Qingzi's warm hospitality, Chen Qingyun sat down and drank a few sips of spiritual tea. Chen Qingzi seemed to have not talked for a long time, and talked about some things with Chen Qingyun. For example, the strength of the family members recently. Since the death of Chen Daoning and Chen Qing, the spiritual fields here lack professional care, and the production capacity this year will drop a lot. He was worried that the production capacity of the spiritual fields would be greatly reduced, which would be sorry for Chen Daoning, Chen Qing, and the family. Chen Nyanxia had been sitting by the side with her head down, teasing a cricket she had caught from nowhere, and she had not spoken to disturb them the whole time. She had been talking to Uncle Qi, and when he mentioned the Zhao family, resentment flashed in his eyes, but when he looked at Chen Qingyun, his eyes became gentle again. Qingyun, Dao Uiyuan and several others were killed, and Uncle Qi did not thank you in person at the time. Don't blame Uncle Qi. King's death was a huge blow to me. I originally planned to pass on all my resources to King after he completed the task of guarding the spiritual field, but it was not satisfactory. His life was forever fixed at the age of 16. If he were still alive now, he would be about the same height as you. Chen Qingyun felt uncomfortable when he heard this, and he said a few words to comfort him. Uncle Qi showed a look of nostalgia, with nostalgia for the past, reminiscence, and relief, which made Chen Qingyun silent for a long time. Chapter 113 5 Elements Sect in number 039 S Kung Fu, Tangsu Spiritual Refining Technique. After a while, realizing that he shouldn't mention these sad things too much, Chen Qingzi showed a solemn expression and glanced at Chen Qingyun. How did you kill Zhao Uiyuan back then? Uncle Qi doesn't ask me why. Uncle Qi will always remember that it was you who avenged King and Uncle Daoning. You are now at the 9th level of Qi refining, and you will have the opportunity to build a foundation in the next 2 years. Uncle Qi hopes that you will be well, and I also want to see the day when you enter the Zaifu, and see the birth of the first Zaifu monk in our Chen family. Don't look at the family, the younger generation accounts for half of the monks. But, in terms of potential, only King Feng, Qinyan, Qingnan, and you are the future of the family. The family has high hopes. It is also the hope for the rise of our Chen clan's immortal clan. Seeing Uncle Qi nagging like this, Chen Qingyun did not interrupt, listened quietly, and nodded from time to time. Until aside, the cricket in Chen Nyanxia's hand disappeared. Chen Qingzi realized that he had said too much and smiled bitterly. As I get older, I'm nagging a little bit, so don't be offended. What did Uncle Qi say? Why would my nephew be nagging me? My nephew is coming here just to see you. You are much more sensible, okay? Chen Qingzi smiled. After chatting with Chen Qingyun, most of the depression in his heart finally dissipated. After guarding the psychedelic island for these days, he had held back too many words in his heart. If you can tell, just tell Chen Nyanxia. What cannot be said, Chen Nyanxia is too young to understand, so he can only bury it in his heart. Now, as soon as Chen Qingyun came, he immediately started chatting and couldn't wait to chat about it all day and night. However, considering that Chen Qingyun also had a mission and needed to guard Zhenhai Island, he did not want to waste Chen Qingyun's time. Chen Qingyun opened up the topic and mentioned the weapon refining workshop and the family's recent decisions to Chen Qingzi. Chen Qingzi smiled and nodded repeatedly, indicating that he knew all this, and the clan leader immediately summoned him and told him. Although he is staying away from home now, Chen Xianming actually cares about him very much and will communicate with him from time to time. Okay, let's not talk about this anymore. Finally, Chen Qingzi took the initiative to end the topic and mention something that had been on his mind. Dao, Hai and the clan leader have told you, I have something I want to give you. Chen Qingyun nodded when he heard this. The next second, Chen Qingzi took out a jade slip and handed it over. This is? I heard the clan leader mention, intentionally or unintentionally, that you have a strong interest in the 5 elements puppetry. You have made a lot of gains on this journey. Uncle Qi doesn't ask much about the reason here. This is your secret. This jade slip contains a technique that can assist you in refining the 5 elements puppet. This skill has been gathering dust in my hands for these years, and today I finally found a destined person. Chen Qingzi's words made Chen Qingyun's expression change. The technique to assist the 5 elements puppet. He couldn't help but ask, with great interest in his heart. Uncle Qi, You still have this in your hand. At the same time, I was also secretly confused. According to Chen Qingyun, she originally obtained this 5 elements puppetry from the clan leader. Is this technique not only possessed by the clan leader? Look at this. Chen Qingzi smiled and felt much better. He waved in the direction of the spiritual field in the distance, and a puppet came to him. This is an earth puppet? Seeing the puppet approaching and standing in front of him, Chen Qingyun recognized the puppet's purpose at a glance. I felt a very familiar aura on the other party. Yes, you are already familiar with it. Chen Qingzi nodded and did not show off. He told Chen Qingyun that this 5 elements puppetry was actually originally acquired by him accidentally in a monk's cave when he was traveling in the inner star sea when he was young. That monk's cave was left by a disciple of the 5 elements sect. The monk sat in the cave. Among the items he left behind, apart from some spiritual stones, charms and 2 magic weapons, the only remaining items were 2 techniques. One is 5 elements puppetry. The other door is in this jade slip. After listening to Uncle Chi's young experience, Chen Qingyun suddenly felt enlightened. This 5 elements puppetry comes from outside the sea of stars. In that vast and dangerous sea of monsters, there is a mysterious sect called 5 Elements Sect. Regarding the specific situation of this 5 Elements Sect, there is no mention in the practice, and Chen Qingyun knows nothing about it. It turns out that this is how the practice came about. At that time, I returned to the family and told the patriarch about it. You also know that this technique, which comes from beyond the star sea, is full of strong mystery for us Xinghai monks. Anyone who encounters it wants to have more contact with it to see what is unusual about it. I had little experience at the time and was the same age as you, so I made a copy of the 5 elements puppet technique and gave it to the clan leader for him to study. You should be able to guess the follow-up. This technique seems to be of little use. The more puppets you make, the more spiritual energy you use. The key is that the 5 elements puppet is not very strong. It is only at the qi refining stage, which is a bit useless for us. Chen Qingzi felt a little emotional. When he learned that the opportunity he had obtained came from the mysterious and treacherous sea of stars, he thought that he had picked up a great opportunity and was going to soar to the sky. However, it was still disappointing. What kind of power is this 5 elements sect? He and the clan leader had also inquired about it, but they knew nothing and did not get any news. It seemed that this sect did not exist. Or it was a hidden sect that was too mysterious and few people knew about it. Both of them were very curious about the origin of the 5 elements sect. Chen Qingzi guessed that this 5 elements puppetry technique did not seem to be as useless as it seemed, and it must be missing some key to the Taoism. The two did not think about it anymore. Chen Qingyun took the jade slip and looked at it carefully. Danxu, refining divine technique. The jade slip recorded a technique that specialized in cultivating divine thoughts, which made Chen Qingyun's eyes brighten. What is divine thoughts? This is the driving force for making and controlling the 5 elements puppets, and even controlling the magic tools. It is the most basic energy. The strength of a cultivator's mind often depends on the strength of his soul. This is also the original intention of Chen Qingyun to purchase the Great Sun Visualization Sutra. The purpose is to improve the soul, strengthen the mind, and thus make and control more 5 elements puppets. In this Danxu refining God technique is a branch of the soul technique, which can be used to practice the mind alone. In the eyes of qi refining cultivators, the strength of the mind is nothing more than controlling a few more magic tools. At the same time, it can also reduce the burden of the mind brought by alchemy, refining, making talismans, carving arrays, etc. The benefits brought by it are different for everyone. And for Chen Qingyun, this Danxu refining God technique is equivalent to a technique tailor-made for him. Chapter 114. The winner is determined by fate. Chen Qingyun has not yet made the 5th wooden puppet. What is the reason? It is because his mind is not strong enough. With this Danxu refining divine art, there is a chance to improve his mind alone. How could Chen Qingyun not be excited? It seems that this technique is useful to you. It's good if it's useful. Sensing Chen Qingyun's expression, Chen Qingyun couldn't help but smile. Finally, he did something that could help his nephew. Not bad. Chen Qingyun did not hide it, nodded repeatedly, and said with a bit of excitement on his face. It is indeed as Uncle Chi said, this technique is of great use to me. This is not only a very advanced Purple Mansion technique that can be cultivated to the peak of Purple Mansion, but also records a method of refining a life magic weapon. As we all know, when the cultivation reaches the Golden Elixir stage, the Golden Elixir cultivator will refine his own life magic weapon. The power of this life magic weapon is equivalent to the cultivation level of the cultivator. The Fiery Sky Sword art inherited by the Chen family is a foundation building technique. After reaching the foundation building stage, a Fiery Sky Sword can be refined as a quasi-magic weapon. But the gap between a quasi-magic weapon and a real magic weapon is still quite large. Moreover, the difficulty of practicing Fiery Sky Sword art is too high. So far, among the entire Chen family, only Chen Xianming has made achievements in this technique. And in this Danxu refining divine technique, it is recorded that there is a superior immortal sword called Danxu Sword, which can be made and controlled in the Purple Mansion stage. According to the records of the technique. In order to refine this Danxu Sword, in addition to reaching the Purple Mansion stage, it is also necessary to use the 10,000-year water jade and another third-level refining material Danxu Divine Stone. Once this sword is practiced, its attack power is strong enough to be infinitely close to the natal magic weapon of the giant and cultivator. Controlling this sword, one can slash any creature below the giant stage. It is an extremely domineering and sharp peerless immortal sword. There is one more outstanding point. The Danxu sword can be classified as a divine thought magic weapon. It can cut off the divine thought connection between creatures and magic weapons, making the opponent's magic weapons useless. After entering the giant stage, this sword can be directly promoted to a life magic weapon, and it is difficult to find an opponent in the same realm. 10,000 years of water jade, Danxu Divine Stone, these two are third-level materials. I have never heard of them. Where can I get them? Chen Qingyun's eyes flashed, and he slowly suppressed his excitement. As for the shortcomings, this technique only has the first and middle parts, and can only be practiced to the peak of the Purple Mansion at most. According to Chen Qingyun's narration, he did not find the lower part of the technique on the Five Elements sect disciple. But this is all later. As long as the Five Elements sect still exists in the world, there is no need to worry about not finding the lower part of the technique. Qingyun, do you understand the technique clearly? This is what I want to give you. Chen Qingyun said with a smile, noticing Chen Qingyun's strangeness, and was happy to help Chen Qingyun. 7th Uncle. Chen Qingyun withdrew his spiritual consciousness, looked up at Chen Qingyun, and asked out of curiosity. Do you and the clan leader practice this technique? This is also a topic he is more concerned about. Chen Qingyun shook his head. My aptitude is too poor. Although I tried to practice, after so many years, I have only learned a little bit of fur, and can barely control one more magic weapon than the cultivators of the same realm. I don't know about the clan leader, maybe the results are much greater than mine. Chen Qingyun said slowly, telling Chen Qingyun that this technique, in the entire family, he copied a copy for Chen Xianming at that time. As for why it did not spread in the family later, he didn't know. After all, this was an opportunity he got when he was young, and he didn't need to hand it over to the family. In addition, in his cognition, spending too much time practicing divine thoughts only leads to an increase in the number of magical instruments used. It is more important to practice the family's skills and improve strength. Qingyun, don't blame your 7th uncle for telling you about this skill now. It's really your 7th uncle. I spent too much time on it at the beginning. Not only did I not gain much, but I delayed my practice. You also saw that this skill lacks the next chapter and is not complete. The family will not give you an incomplete skill to practice. Now that it is handed over to you, you must practice it as appropriate and do not affect your daily practice. Chen Qingyun said with some earnestness, the success or failure is determined by heaven, But choice is as important as hard work. If you go astray, how much time will be wasted? After hearing what Chen Qingyun said, Chen Qingyun nodded slowly. Yes, the success or failure is determined by heaven, but choice is also very important. If I had not chosen to practice the 5 elements puppetry technique at the beginning, my strength would not have improved so quickly. Not to mention killing Zhao Shaoyuan, who was in the foundation building stage. The help brought by the 5 elements puppet was one of Chen Qingyun's most powerful means. As for why the Tangsu refining god technique had not been circulated in the family, he gradually understood it now. After pondering for a while, Chen Qingyun accepted the technique without hesitation. Remember the teachings of Uncle Qi. After staying on the psychedelic island for an afternoon, Chen Qingyun set off in the evening. When he returned to Zhenhai Island, it was already night, and he couldn't wait to start practicing the Tangsu refining god technique. The principle of this technique is to absorb the 5 elements of essence in the world to condense the mind, so as to achieve the effect of improving the mind. The 5 elements of essence are a kind of energy existing in the world, which can be absorbed and condensed through special techniques and means. In the world of immortal cultivation, there are many techniques that require the use of 5 elements of essence to practice. This has also derived an industry, selling 5 elements of essence. Where there is demand, there will be a market, which has further derived corresponding magic tools and cultivator professions. Many casual cultivators do not hunt monsters or plant spiritual fields. They rely on buying a magic tool called 5 elements disc to absorb and store the 5 elements of essence, and then sell the 5 elements of essence in exchange for spiritual stones. Driving the 5 elements disc is to continuously exert magic power. It is like a magnet, absorbing the scattered and almost invisible iron and stone in the world. If I can obtain the 5 elements of essence through the technique, then I don't have to worry about the 5 elements of essence now. Chen Qingyun understood how to practice this technique. Later, if a large amount of 5 elements essence is needed, just go to the Zhuxian market to buy it. As for the specific price, it is not clear now. Now, the opportunity to improve the mind is in front of us, and we naturally cannot miss it. Chen Qingyun's soul has reached the 3rd level on the basis of continuous practice of the Da Revisualization Sutra. The strength of the soul has far exceeded that of the cultivators in the Qi refining stage and has reached the level of the initial foundation building. But the mind is not as strong as the soul, and it is still impossible to control the 2nd level magic weapon. Now, with the assistance of this Tianzu refining soul technique, it is different. He began to practice, and according to the extraction method of the technique, a stream of spiritual energy from heaven and earth gathered on Chen Qingyun's head. A little bit of the 5 elements essence was extracted and merged into the body, acting on the soul, thereby nourishing the mind. Chapter 115 Fusion, Foundation Building Stage Puppet, 5 Elements Sky Escape. After practicing for an hour, Chen Qingyun found that the improvement of his spiritual power was not very obvious. First, the time of practice was too short. Second, the 5 elements of essence extracted were limited, and it took a lot of time. Practicing with the method is a natural process, which takes a very long time. Purchasing the 5 elements of essence directly to practice is indeed a shortcut. However, this will cost a lot of spirit stones, which is a way of practicing that burns money. Fortunately, although the improvement of the spiritual power is not obvious. But Chen Qingyun can clearly feel that the Great Sun Visualization Sutra is getting closer and closer to breaking through the 4th level. These 5 elements of essence have improved his spiritual power a little bit, and also fed back to the soul. Coincidentally, it is only a step away from the 4th level of the method. After taking a few deep breaths, Chen Qingyun continued to immerse himself in practice. At the same time, the refining of the Chen family's red iron sword has been transferred to the refining workshop today. In the weapon refining workshop, red iron swords were still being produced. The money tree of the weapon refining workshop continued to earn profits for the Chen family. The next day, the dawn broke. Chen Qingyun jumped onto the roof and sat cross-legged, facing the rising sun to practice the Great Sun Visualization Sutra. In order to break through the 4th level of the technique, He continued to practice in the morning and noon every day. Until the morning of the third day, the bottleneck of the technique was finally broken. The Great Sun Visualization Sutra entered the fourth level in one fell swoop. At this time, the soul was improved again. It has reached the state of being able to control 7 magic tools at the same time and refine the fifth puppet. In order to refine the wood puppet, Chen Qingyun was eager to move. After thinking for a while, he went to the location of the spirit eye tree to obtain the refining materials. As a wood-attributed spiritual tree, the spirit eye tree itself is also a spiritual object of heaven and earth. It is obviously more than enough to refine the wood puppet. Of course, this whole tree cannot be refined. I still hope to continue to condense the essence of the spiritual wood to assist in cultivation. After selecting a branch of arm length and cutting it, Chen Qingyun started to make a wood puppet under the spiritual tree. Soon after, a green puppet gradually took shape, which looked similar to the other 4 puppets of the same vein, but the effect was different. This wood puppet can cast wood spells, such as entanglement, wood vine, flying leaves, etc. This wood spell is not uncommon. It is worth mentioning that the wood puppet has a very peculiar effect. Healing. It can use the power of wood to heal the other 4 puppets of gold, wood, water and fire, and even itself. This is very rare. Although Chen Qingyun has controlled the 4 puppets to fight so far, there has been no injury or damage to the puppets. That is because the control is proper and has not encountered 2 strong opponents. If facing the frontal attack of the foundation building cultivator, this 5-element puppet will not be enough to resist even if it has 3 heads and 6 arms. This wood puppet, as a backup force, is obviously quite in place. After spending 7 strengthening points, the wood puppet was upgraded to the 9th level of Qi refining. After completing the strengthening, Chen Qingyun took out the other 4 puppets at this time. The 4 little men jumped down from his palm and turned into the size of a person. According to the 5 elements puppetry. After making 5 puppets of gold, wood, water, fire and earth at the same time. Not only can the 5 puppets be fused to create new puppets. Moreover, you can also master a magical power, 5 elements sky escape. Magical power. This is a Taoist skill that only giant and cultivators can comprehend and perform. Chen Qingyun has a strong look of expectation at this time. How to fuse the 5 puppets of gold, wood, water, fire and earth. He has already mastered it by heart. 5 puppets with different attributes are placed together, and their attribute origins are fused, which will automatically condense a brand new puppet. To achieve this, the basis is to control the 5 puppets at the same time, extract the origin of the original attributes, and then merge them. Until the 5 elements of power are mutually generated and restrained. First, start with the earth puppet. Chen Qingyun slowly took out its earth origin. Then the water puppet and the water origin. Then the fire origin, the gold origin, and finally the wood origin. The 5 original powers, according to the recording method of the exercises, were suspended in front of him under the control of the magic power. The 5 different powers began to slowly merge in the form of the fusion of the 5 elements of gold, wood, water, fire and earth. Time passed bit by bit. This is a natural and slow fusion process. In the process of fusion, there will be a fusion feedback effect. Chen Qingyun needs to take the opportunity to comprehend the meaning of the 5 elements. So as to master the 5 elements of Tandun. Completely immersed in it, I can't feel the passage of time at all. It was not until noon that the 5 attributes of power were integrated and a 5-color origin was suspended in front of him. At this point, all he had to do was place the 5-element origin into the body of a puppet at will. The 5-element origin was placed into the body of the earth puppet, and the puppet was activated, emitting a burst of 5-color light. At the same time, a force emerged from the puppet and appeared in Chen Qingyun's mind. 5-element sky escape. This is the 5-element sky escape. He was delighted, and when he looked at the puppet in front of him, he saw an amazing aura that far exceeded the Qi refining stage. Is this the foundation building period? Chen Qingyun was stunned for a moment, and then his face showed ecstasy. After opening the system to check the 5 items of the 5 elements puppets of gold, wood, water, Fire and earth disappeared. 5 elements puppet, second level lower grade. The following words appeared instead. Second level magic weapon corresponds to the foundation building period. Among them, the foundation building period is not divided into 9 levels like the Qi refining period. It is divided into 4 small realms: the initial stage, the middle stage, the late stage and the peak. Second level lower grade, equivalent to the strength of the initial stage of foundation building. Since the puppet has reached the initial stage of foundation building, then according to the principle that Qi refining cultivators cannot control second level magic weapons, can I control this new puppet? Excited, Chen Qingyun's expression changed, and he couldn't help but fall into a state of contemplation again. This new puppet was born, but if it can't be controlled, what's the use? Do I have to wait until I'm promoted to the foundation building period before I can control it? With a hint of nervousness, Chen Qingyun took a deep breath and tried to control it. He gave the simplest command to walk, and the new puppet stepped around him and circled around for a few times. Then he tried to use the earth magic to escape underground, the fire magic to spit fire, the wood magic to entangle, etc. And the new puppet did it one by one. The powerful aura emitted during the casting made Chen Qingyun afraid. It can be controlled. After some operation, Chen Qingyun found that the mana required to control the new puppet was similar to that of the earth puppet. The mana consumption will not be greatly increased due to the strength of the puppet. It is worth mentioning that his control over this new puppet can be said to have reached a perfect level. Why do I say that? Because once this new puppet is a little stronger and reaches the middle stage of foundation building, it will really be impossible to control it. Controlling an early stage of foundation building is the current limit of Chen Qingyun. Of course, it is also possible to control several puppets and magic tools in the Qi refining period at the same time. This made Chen Qingyun breathe a sigh of relief. Since it has reached the foundation building stage and is formed by the fusion of 5 puppets, it should also have a name. What name should I call it? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 116, The CN number 039 S most powerful person, Deep-sea baby carp. This foundation building puppet is the first foundation building puppet born after the fusion of 5 puppets. It is of great significance to Chen Qingyun and deserves to be remembered. The puppet also naturally needs a name. After touching his chin and thinking for a while, Chen Qingyun murmured to himself. Since it is made of the 5 attributes of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth, and it can exert the power of the 5 elements, why not call it the 5 elements? The name is also appropriate. After thinking about the name, Chen Qingyun's eyes fell on the 5 elements and he smiled slightly. I will call you Wu Xing from now on. Hearing this, the puppet in front of him still stood there quietly, accompanying Chen Qingyun. Regarding the control range of the 5 elements, Chen Qingyun tested it. He discovered that the farthest distance between the 5 elements envoys was about 3,000 feet, or 10,000 meters. Compared with the previous distance of 1,000 feet, it can be said to be a huge improvement. This made Chen Qingyun even more satisfied. Started today. The 5 elements have undoubtedly become his strongest weapon. Withdrawing his thoughts from Wu Xing and looking at the empty shells of the remaining 4 puppets, Chen Qingyun decided to make the best use of them. Currently, he can only control 1 foundation building puppet. However, in the Qi refining stage, he can control 3 of the earth elements, wood puppets, etc. at the same time. However, making a puppet requires consuming spiritual energy, so the 4th one cannot be made at once. One morning, Chen Qingyun refined 3 parts of the water, fire and earth essence, created an earth puppet body, and created 3 puppets. Among the 5 types of puppets, the earth elemental puppet is the most useful, and it was also Chen Qingyun's puppet enlightenment. After spending 21 strengthening points, These 3 puppets have all reached the 9th level of Qi refining. Follow up. After waiting for the strength to improve, or for a huge breakthrough in spiritual consciousness, the remaining 2 puppets can be made. Then merge into the second foundation building stage puppet. It's exciting just to think about it. As for the 5 elements heavenly escape. After completing the strengthening of the puppet, Chen Qingyun deployed this magical power and flew out of Zhenhai Island. He turned into a stream of light and could escape thousands of miles away in an instant without using any flying magic weapon. This magical power consumes mana. According to Chen Qingyun's strength, he can use it up to 5 times. That means you can travel 50,000 miles in one breath. This is undoubtedly a life-saving magical power. Imagine being dormant thousands of meters away, using the hidden spirit gauze to annihilate the breath on your body, and control the 5 elements and the 5 major Qi refining puppets to take action. Compared with before, how much strength improvement will this bring? With the 5 elements heavenly escape in his possession, he was able to kill the enemy in an instant from 1,000 meters away. Even if you miss a single hit, you can still escape 1,000 meters or 10,000 meters away and escape completely. It can be used to fight with puppets. Finding the right moment at the critical moment can also achieve a one-hit kill effect. On the vast sea. Chen Qingyun used 5 elements heavenly escape and was instantly away from Zhenhai Island, flying over an unknown sea area. The airflow brought about by the high-speed movement pulled a long water line out of the sea surface. The fish in the water quickly dispersed and moved in panic. With one move, you can teleport thousands of miles. What a 5-element escape, ha ha ha. After performing 5 elements heavenly escape and teleporting such a long distance, Chen Qingyun laughed, moved his body again, and suddenly disappeared into the sky. In the vast expanse of sea. Millions of years of reproduction have produced countless monsters. There are countless spiritual treasures and treasures in the sea. Whether it is a big demon whose wisdom is comparable to that of a human race, or a little ignorant demon who has just begun to awaken his wisdom, they all live under this blue sea. This is a paradise for monsters. Even in the relatively safe inner star sea, it is difficult to count the monsters in the sea. Not to mention the more dangerous alien sea. The extremely dangerous alien sea is a place where even the foundation building monks don't want to set foot. Among the hundreds of millions of monsters, a small number of high-level monsters are feared by monks, and many have even transformed into humans, dormant in the world of immortality, and live in practice just like ordinary people. Most of the low-level monsters were hunted and killed at will, becoming synonymous with monster pills, resources, and spiritual stones. Hunting monsters in exchange for resources is also the way of survival for Xinghai casual cultivators. On the sea in front of you, a spiritual ship was sailing slowly, hunting low-level monsters. Due to the vast territory of the sea area, it can easily cover hundreds of thousands of miles. Many of the casual cultivators who go out to sea to hunt monsters do not have the financial resources and can only travel in small flying boats. Like the team in front of them. This spiritual ship has reached the first level of low grade. The rank is a bit low, but the advantage is that you can travel far. If you look carefully, you can clearly see that there is a big yang written on the sail. Looking at the people on the ship, they were all uniformly dressed, and they were obviously from a family that cultivated immortals. In the Sea of Stars. Many newly established families have the advantage of unity and cooperation. In the beginning, they would organize family monks to hunt monsters in exchange for resources. The Chen Immortal clan also came here this way in the beginning, and it still retains this tradition. Chen Qingyun would often lead his family's early Qi refining monks to go out to sea to hunt monsters in exchange for spirit stones, while also teaching his clansmen how to identify the species of monsters. If you encounter monsters in the sea in the future, you will know how to deal with them. On the boat, there were more than 20 monster beast corpses piled up. These are all low-level monsters, such as tiger sharks, three-headed squids, black-striped hairtails, etc. There are a total of 16 people from the Yang family who are traveling this time. 10 of them are mortals, 5 are in the early stage of Qi refining, and 1 is in the middle stage of Qi refining. The middle stage of Qi refining is an old man, who is also the leader, He is reminding everyone to be vigilant and not to take it lightly even on the way back. Dangers in the sea can appear at any time, and no one knows what is hidden in the sea. Grandpa Wei, this sea area is shown on the map as a safe area, and there are few monsters. A Yang family cultivator said. He was only 15 years old, and his blood was in his prime. Yes, with Grandpa Wei in charge, even if you encounter a monster attack, you can easily resolve it. Yeah, this is my first time going out to sea, it feels so fun. The 3 Yang family teenagers chattered, and there was no tension on their faces. Yang Ziwei, who was called Grandpa Wei, saw that these younger generations were full of energy and sometimes laughed and talked. He couldn't help but sigh at the vitality of the young people. At the same time, he didn't say anything more and was vigilant. According to the sea map, this sea area is a channel, and ships often pass through here, and there is no need to detour. But sometimes, what you fear will come true. Just when Yang Ziwei faded away from fatigue and relaxed a little, the ship, which was originally moving forward smoothly, suddenly made a roar and shook violently. The Yang family monks on the boat said that they didn't need to be nervous, but they were actually paying attention to the dynamics around them. This sudden movement immediately startled them and they looked into the sea. It was at this glance that everyone's face changed when they saw the huge creature in the sea. Deep Sea, Baby Carp. Chapter 117. Take action. Hunting monsters. Why is there a deep sea baby carp here? Even Yang Ziwei, who has always been calm. At this time, he also took a breath of cold air, with a hint of despair in his tone, and told the origin of this monster beast. The deep sea infant carp is a famous ferocious monster in the Star Sea. They live in the deep sea all year round. Once they leave the deep sea and appear in shallow sea areas, it is often that time when they are most violent and ferocious. As sea monks, everyone in the Yang family still couldn't recognize this deep sea baby carp. It was extremely ugly, with baby-like facial features, a thick dark carapace, thick and short limbs, and a long sharp tail fin. It clearly shows the identity of this monster. It would be okay if they didn't know each other, and they wouldn't show signs of fear or despair. The scary thing about these deep sea baby carps is that, as first-order monsters, they have extremely terrifying defenses. It can travel freely in the deep sea without being affected by water pressure. Even if he encounters top-level monsters of the first level, he is unwilling to provoke them. Most of them will be troubled by their powerful defenses rather than fighting against them, which is time-consuming and laborious. It is easier to prey on other monsters. Rely on the power of chi refining monks. If you want to kill this deep sea baby carp, you need at least a late stage of chi refining, and 1 or 2 top-grade first-class magic weapons to have any hope of winning. Otherwise, if you can't even break through the opponent's defense, how can you have any chance of winning? The deep sea baby carp under the boat also took a risk at this time. It is guessed that even the monks on the boat can't do anything to it. As a result, it swung its limbs and body, making waves driven by the demonic power, setting off a large wave that impacted the spirit ship. A large number of waves surged up, forming 4 water walls, like a water prison, blocking the spirit ship, making it impossible to advance or retreat. At the same time, the deep-sea infant carp swung its huge body, casting a huge shadow as it swam in the sea, striking the spirit ship fiercely. The force of the impact caused the spirit ship to shake violently. Even if Yang Ziwei activated the defense of the spirit ship in time, the ship would still tip over into the sea at any time and could not withstand such an impact. Grandpa Wei, deep-sea baby carp. What should we do now? The young monk who was still chatting and laughing a while ago was so frightened that she cried out when faced with the attack of the deep-sea infant carp. The other teenagers also looked desperate. They looked at the towering water prison around them and the huge monsters rolling in the sea, and their mentality was about to collapse. At this time, let alone their inexperienced people. Even if the head of the Yang family comes, he will still have to drink his hatred in the mouth of this monster. Unfortunately, because of their low cultivation level, it was their first time to go to sea and they were not equipped with flying boats in time. If you want to escape now, where can you escape to? Are you going to jump into the sea and be swallowed by a deep-sea baby carp? Attack, with all your strength. Yang Ziwei suppressed the panic in his heart and called on several juniors to take action together, trying to repel the giant beast making waves in the sea. After hearing this, several boys and girls knew that they could only fight to the death. They panicked and took out their magic weapons, used their magic arts, and aimed at the deep-sea baby carp in the sea to hit them quickly. All of a sudden, 6 magic weapons came out and fell into the sea. 3 of them missed, and the rest hit the mark with a bang. However, this level of attack power is not even enough for the deep-sea baby carp to scratch an itch. This in turn aroused its even crazier desire to kill. Its dark head poked out of the water, its eyes showing greedy light. Everyone saw it flapping its limbs, erupting with astonishing power. The whole body actually jumped out of the sea, flew in the air, and rushed towards the spirit ship. God knows how such a huge body can burst out with such great power and be able to jump out of the water like this. Not good. Seeing the giant beast coming, Yang Ziwei's expression changed drastically, and he quickly activated the spirit ship frantically to strengthen the defense. A circular shield firmly wrapped the ship. Bang! The deep-sea baby carp threw itself heavily on the spirit boat. During a violent shaking, the boat's draft sank several meters. Although this blow was successfully resisted. But the defensive shields on the spirit ship dimmed. At most, it can only be shaken hard twice, and I'm afraid it will fall into pieces. The deep-sea baby carp did not knock over the spirit ship this time. After falling into the sea, it stirred up large waves and quickly prepared its next attack. When everyone on the ship saw this, they panicked and realized that their attacks were ineffective. What we are facing now is the countdown to death, and there is no other way. Looking at the sharp fangs of the monster, some people even had the idea of killing themselves. At least it would be better than being torn apart by this monster. This fear of waiting to die is unbearable and is simply a form of torture. The young monk had already turned pale. She was so frightened that she was at a loss and her delicate body was trembling. Just when everyone's hearts were filled with despair and shrouded in dark clouds of despair, a sound of breaking through the air came from the distance. Along with a whistling sound, the water surface was split apart by a high-speed force, spreading to both sides. A clear sound of surprise sounded. Huh? Deep sea baby carp. Above the sea, close to the sea surface. A figure flew over. When he passed by the deep-sea baby carp, his speed slowed down, and he paused, standing on the sea surface. The surprised voice just now also fell clearly into the ears of Yang Ziwei and others. The few people were separated by the water prison and could not see who was coming for a while. The next moment, they heard the voice again. 5 elements, solve it. As soon as the voice fell, the waves in the surrounding sea area became more turbulent. A completely inferior spiritual power appeared, forming a larger cage. The mighty waves rushed up to the sky, enveloping the deep-sea baby carp and the Yang family's boats. Yang Ziwei and others were still wondering which senior was taking action. The deep-sea baby carp, which was originally arrogant in the sea, whimpered as if it had seen some terrible enemy. It withdrew the attack of the water prison and wanted to escape into the deep sea. You can't run away. Another clear voice sounded. The deep-sea baby carp was blocked by the cage that appeared, and it became a turtle in a jaw. Between heaven and earth, a strong water-attributed force was surging and sweeping. This powerful aura hit the ship, causing Yang Ziwei's expression to change, and he couldn't help but exclaim, "This is a strong foundation-building person." As soon as he said this, I saw a tall black figure holding a water-blue halberd, rushing towards the deep-sea baby carp trapped in the sea. The halberd stabbed out. As the black figure turned into a stream of light. In the blink of an eye, it approached the deep-sea baby carp. With a puff, it pierced through the back armor of the monster, bringing thick blood, and the sea area turned red. Seeing that the monster's defense that he and others could not break was easily broken by the other party with just a casual blow. What? Such a strong power? Yang Ziwei showed a look of shock. Leave a whole body. The voice sounded again. Chapter 118. The Yang family is shocked. Hearing this, the black figure holding a halberd once again burst out with astonishing power, escaped into the sea, and stirred up a wave that reached the sky. Wow! A flash of aqua blue light appeared. Only the deep-sea baby carp was heard roaring in fear, and the scales on the entire neck were cut open forcefully. Immediately afterwards, its head suddenly separated from its body. A scarlet color spread across the sea, and the roars of the monsters and the rolling sounds of the waves stopped abruptly. Just when the baby carp in the deep sea was being killed, a flying boat appeared in front of everyone. On top of the flying boat stood a young man with a free and easy appearance. Everyone saw this man reach out and make a move, and then a black figure holding a halberd rushed out of the sea and landed on the flying boat. It's them. They took action and killed the deep-sea baby carp. A young girl from the Yang family was stunned, looking at the two figures on the flying boat. She couldn't help but exclaim. The word they had just left her mouth. The next moment, the young man stretched out his palm. The black figure that was originally standing in front of him turned into a ray of light, fell into his hand, and disappeared immediately. Looking at the aqua blue halberd, it was also put into the storage bag. This scene made Yang Ziwei and others look puzzled, but they also looked at each other and saw the horror on each other's faces. Because they originally thought that the one who killed the deep-sea baby carp was the senior holding the halberd. Looking at it now, it is clearly not a human monk, but more like a puppet. The owner of this puppet is the young man who looks to be about 20 years old. It was this young man who came to their rescue and killed the deep-sea baby carp in a few moves. This method of attack has exceeded their knowledge. How could this not shock them? Looking at Chen Qingyun at this time, he did not pay attention to the expressions of the Yang family monks. In this battle, it didn't take much effort for the five elements envoy by Boji to kill the deep-sea baby carp. What surprised Chen Qingyun was that the deep-sea infant carp that lived in the deep sea actually appeared here. His attention was focused on the body of the deep-sea infant carp that surfaced in the sea. The first level of high quality is equivalent to the 8th level of qi refining. After looking at it for a while, Chen Qingyun murmured to himself, "It's still a little too weak." His tone was mixed with disappointment, and he suddenly turned his head and looked at Yang Ziwei and the others. On board. The corpse of the low-level monster was placed on the deck, frozen by an ice spell. Looking at the word Yang on the sail again, Chen Qingyun was thoughtful. The Yang family was among the Xingsha Islands. He had no impression of this family, and it was not among the 9 foundation-building families in Xingsha. It seems to be a newly established qi-refining family. Among these Yang family monks, Chen Qingyun also saw a very familiar magical weapon, the red iron sword. This made him take a second look. Faced with Chen Qingyun's scrutiny, Yang Ziwei and others were still in awe of the strength displayed by Chen Qingyun. Seeing Chen Qingyun's gaze, everyone quickly bowed their heads, not daring to look at him. The young man in front of him killed the deep-sea infant carp like a chicken. If you attack them, you won't be able to fight back at all. And those mortals of the Yang family. Seeing their family monks who had once made them admire, they all looked bowed to Chen Qingyun. Each one of them was silent and did not dare to take a breath. In their opinion, their own immortal master is certainly powerful. But the young man on the flying boat is even more powerful. The atmosphere stayed like this for a while. After a while, it was Yang Ziwei who took the lead to muster up the courage, looked up, and said with gratitude, "Thank you, senior, for saving your life." Yang Ziwei was like this, and several other boys and girls around him also came to their senses. They quickly raised their eyes to look up and then held their hands in gratitude. Chen Qingyun looked at them quietly, lowered the flying altitude, and came to the side of the spirit ship. He looked at them levelly and asked, "Are you all immortal cultivators of the Yang family?" Immediately, he took another look at the corpses of the monsters on the boats. "They all go out to sea to hunt monsters." "Exactly, the juniors are all from the Yang family on Hongshan Island." As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Ziwei hesitated for a moment, but couldn't help but ask, "May I ask, senior, which monk are you from?" The style of Chen Qingyun's robes makes it easy to tell that he comes from a cultivating immortal family. However, it is difficult to identify which one it is. Chen Qingyun is not shy about such inquiries. "I am from the Chen family on Linjian Island." Upon hearing Chen Qingyun reported his origins. As an old monk who has been in the world of immortality for decades, Yang Ziwei silently wrote down the words Chen family on Linjian Island. He introduced himself, Junior Yang Ziwei. Thanks to Senior Chen's intervention this time, we were rescued. From now on, I will definitely come to thank you. When he said this, he looked a little embarrassed. Realizing that the rewards that he and others could offer, Chen Qingyun must look down upon them. If I really want to be grateful, I have to discuss it after returning to the family and then make a decision. It's just a matter of effort. Chen Qingyun didn't pay too much attention to Yang Ziwei's words, and took them all as a courtesy. His eyes looked at the deep-sea baby carp in the sea. Can I take this monster away? As soon as this question was asked, Yang Ziwei nodded repeatedly. This monster was killed by Senior, and every penny belongs to Senior. Around Yang Ziwei, several boys and girls from the Yang family did not dare to interrupt, but they were secretly looking at Chen Qingyun. When he saw Chen Qingyun's eyes, he quickly lowered his head. Then, it would be disrespectful for me to refuse. Chen Qingyun was not polite. He took out the green light sword and took away the demon pill, the carapace of the deep-sea infant carp, and the minions in a few strokes. The remaining flesh, bones, etc. were not collected because they were too bulky to fit in the storage bag and could not be taken away. I have collected the part one need. The rest is up to you to decide whether to collect or not. I leave it to you. Thank you very much, Senior. Yang Ziwei looked happy when he heard this. Chen Qingyun nodded and said no more. His eyes fell on the red iron sword held by the young monk. He noticed Chen Qingyun's gaze and seemed to be interested in his granddaughter. Looking at his granddaughter's appearance, she was indeed innocent, smart and especially beautiful. Yang Ziwei couldn't help but feel a little nervous. If the other party kidnapped his granddaughter, how should he deal with it? However, he soon stopped laughing, feeling ashamed of his own thoughts. Everyone could only hear Chen Qingyun's voice. Thank you very much. Please buy more of this low-grade red iron sword in the future. Yang Ziwei and others all looked stunned. Obviously, they didn't expect that Chen Qingyun would say such a sentence. Just as Yang Ziwei was about to say something, all he saw was a blur in front of his eyes. Chen Qingyun, who was originally flying a boat in front of him, disappeared. What appeared instead was a stream of light speeding in the distance. Just in the blink of an eye, it was like thunder. Chen Qingyun's figure disappeared into the sky, and no trace could be caught. Seeing this scene, everyone opened their mouths wide and felt particularly shocked. In just the blink of an eye, it moved tens of thousands of meters and disappeared from sight. What kind of powerful method is this? Even a foundation-building monk cannot do this. Chapter 119 Chen Qingyun and number 039:S choice. After a long period of calm, Yang Ziwei came back to his senses and recalled what Chen Qingyun said before he left. He finally understood the intention. Oh, I'm confused. He patted his head and remembered something. The Chen family of Linjian Island, isn't this red iron sword from their family? I didn't recognize him. He is a cultivator of the Chen family. Seeing Yang Ziwei's behavior, other Yang family cultivators around him recalled the relationship between the red iron sword and the Chen family of Linjian Island. Grandpa, if I remember correctly, the Chen family of Linjian Island is also a foundation-building family in the Xingsha Islands. There are only one or two foundation-building cultivators in the family. But he is so young, about the same age as me. How can his strength? How can he be so powerful? A Yang family girl said, looking up at the direction where Chen Qingyun left. The shock on her face had not faded. Yes, this person is really powerful. Another Yang family girl nodded. It's true that they didn't recognize that Chen Qingyun was from the Chen family. The Chen family was so profound that a young man actually had the strength to kill the deep-sea baby carp. If it were other cultivators of the Chen family, wouldn't they be even stronger? You have learned a lot today. Yang Ziwei's eyes were shining, and he took the opportunity to teach several juniors, saying seriously, The starry sea is vast and has never lacked all kinds of geniuses. There are countless peers who are better and stronger than you. Do you still remember that the educational purpose of my Yang family has always emphasized not to be proud and complacent? Now the appearance of this senior from the Chen family can be regarded as a good lesson for you. The truth behind this, you should think about it carefully after you go back. Yang Ziwei stopped talking after he finished speaking, and continued to sail the spirit ship. Hearing this, several cultivators of the Yang family couldn't help but feel that their achievements that they were once proud of seemed so insignificant in front of Chen Qingyun. The two young Yang family cultivators, who were proud and self-satisfied, lowered their heads silently and realized that there are always people who are better than you. In the family, they are the best, their cultivation achievements surpass their peers, and they are respected by the family and praised by the elders. But after leaving the family, they first experienced the attack of the deep-sea baby carp, and felt powerless and desperate. They felt that their own strength was insufficient and they were far from being the opponent of this monster. Then, they witnessed Chen Qingyun, who was the same age, showing his skills. He raised his hand and killed the deep-sea baby carp with a few moves. This strong sense of impact and gap made their arrogance disappear instantly. While admiring Chen Qingyun, they decided to change their usual arrogant mentality after returning to the family and practice hard. At the same time, they felt that the impression of the Chen family in their minds became more and more lofty. In the future, they will buy more magic tools sold by this family and try to buy a few more water and fire taliced robes. Without noticing the expressions of Yang Ziwei and the others, Chen Qingyun performed the 5 elements sky escape, turned into a stream of light and galloped across the sea. In a flash, he flew back to the sea area of Zhenhai Island. After performing it twice, and controlling the 5 elements, half of his mana had been consumed. After returning to Zhenhai Island, he sat cross-legged in the room to practice. After a while, his mana was restored to a full state. Seeing that it was still early and he had free time, he simply practiced the Tangsu refining divine art to strengthen his practice of divine thoughts. This time, he took action to deal with the deep-sea baby carp. The power of the 5 elements made him more aware of the importance of practicing divine thoughts. He continued to practice for most of the day. Until the end of the practice, Chen Qingyun walked outside, went to the spiritual field, cast a spell and began to irrigate the field. After several months of continuous casting and irrigating, Chen Qingyun's technique had become very skilled, and it took only about an incense stick of time to complete the watering. In the pest control stage, there were only a few small pests in the spiritual field. Under the use of the golden needle technique, these small pests were quickly cleared. When Chen Qingyun came to Yunbo Lake again to investigate the situation of the green-tailed spiritual fish, he found that there were 4 more spiritual fish in the lake. Those were 4 young spiritual fish, about the size of a little finger, and they looked particularly agile. When he first arrived in the lake, Chen Qingyun had not discovered these 4 little guys. Later, he saw them swimming with the school of fish, and then he carefully noticed their traces. The scale of the green-tailed spiritual fish is still a little small now. It would be better if we could raise 100 or 200. Chen Qingyun looked at the school of fish playing in the lake and said thoughtfully, "We must work hard to make this green-tailed spiritual fish an exclusive specialty of my Chen family's immortal clan. 20 green-tailed spiritual fish, 12 spiritual stones each, are worth only 240 spiritual stones. Even so, Chen Qingyun was reluctant to sell them like this. Keeping this and cultivating it into a resource industry is the development trend. Outsiders want the green-tailed spiritual fish, but there is no chance for this. The breeding of this spiritual fish still needs to be explored, and we have to think of ways to breed and induce birth. There is no way to rush for success in a short period of time. After leaving Yunbo Lake, Chen Qingyun went to the spiritite tree and collected some spiritual wood essence for refining. This spiritual light tree will condense a drop of spiritual wood essence every day. Because of his cultivation, Chen Qingyun does not need to spend time practicing every day for the time being. He only needs to refine the spirit wood essence to consolidate his cultivation. Calculating the days, he can try to build a foundation in a dozen days. In the next few days, Chen Qingyun spent his free time focusing on refining weapons. He is still a few steps away from the first grade upper grade refining attainments, and he will have to work hard for a few more months before he can make a breakthrough. For this reason, the fastest way to break through is to ask Chen Qingyun for advice. Chen Qingyun's attainments as a first grade upper grade refiner are already very solid. In order to reach a higher level, Chen Qingyun has been learning refining weapons with his fifth sister these days, and has mastered some new knowledge, more advanced ray pattern knowledge and engraving. According to your comprehension ability, I believe that it will take no more than half a year to break through to the first grade upper grade level. I will give you some refining recipes for first grade upper grade magic weapons. When you have time, you can start refining more and accumulate more experience and array patterns. Chen Qingyun smiled lightly. In terms of cultivation, Chen Qingyun is far inferior to Chen Qingyun. But in the field of refining, she is much better than Chen Qingyun. She is Chen Qingyun's mentor, guiding Chen Qingyun to move forward in the field of refining. Speaking of cultivation, Chen Qingyun noticed that the fifth sister's cultivation had recovered to the fourth level of qi refining. This made Chen Qingyun look happy, and he couldn't help asking, "Fifth sister, when did you recover to the fourth level of qi refining?" Since being injured by the water toad beast on Ziazu Island a few years ago, Chen Qingyun's strength has dropped a lot. After years of hard practice and recuperation, she recovered from her injuries little by little 3 years ago, and her cultivation continued to grow. From the second level of qi refining to the fourth level of qi refining, the difficulty has not decreased, which is equivalent to recultivation. You are careful. I broke through in seclusion yesterday. Chen Qingyun showed a rare serious look and took the initiative to mention the matter of the star sea monster tide. To be honest, I want to participate in the conscription and go to the battlefield to have a good experience. I have been cultivating for too long in the past few years, and I have long lacked training and experience in combat. To be stationed on Zhenhai Island, it is not enough to just cultivate. Chen Qingyun was quite surprised to hear that the fifth sister took the initiative to mention that she wanted to follow the family cultivators to participate in the Xingzong campaign. After a moment of silence, he couldn't help but ask, "Fifth sister, have you thought about it?" "Yes." Chen Qingyun nodded slightly. "Qingyun, I am not a coward. You can go to the front line for the family and fight bloody battles, but I have to be cowardly because I am a woman." After the words fell, she looked into Chen Qingyun's eyes and said, "I don't want to curl up under the protection of the family's wings all the time. I will go with you when the Xingzong conscription is called in a year." Chen Qingyun's words made Chen Qingyun speechless for a long time. After speaking out her inner thoughts, Chen Qingyun thought Chen Qingyun would be angry and accused her of staying on Zhenhai Island. Why would she go to the battlefield when she had nothing to do? There was no need to take the risk. Unexpectedly, Chen Qingyun nodded immediately afterwards. "Okay." This word "okay" implies recognition of her idea and respect for her decision. "Qingyun, don't you blame me for thinking so?" Seeing this, Chen Qingyun felt warm in her heart. She didn't expect Chen Qingyun's reaction to be like this. She didn't persuade her to stay on Zhenhai Island. "Fifth sister, do whatever you want to do." Chen Qingyun smiled faintly. "I support your choice." Well, when she returned to her residence, Chen Qingyun was still thinking about the breakthrough of the fifth sister's cultivation. For 3 or 4 years, she has been working hard to restore her cultivation. It was not until yesterday that she recovered to the fourth level of qi refining. For Chen Qingyun, this is not easy. Qi refining cultivation is a race against time. Because of the injury, the cultivation has regressed, and it took another 3 or 4 years to rebuild and restore the realm. This means that she has practiced 3 or 4 years less than her peers. However, it is just as the fifth sister said. Fighting with demons on the front battlefield is dangerous, but it is indeed a good opportunity to train herself and quickly improve her strength. As a sea cultivator, who can avoid fighting with sea monsters? A truly powerful cultivator is not only reflected in the realm. Practical experience and the ability to deal with crises are also crucial. As a female cultivator valued by the family and also a talented one among the Qing generation, it would be a lie for Chen Qingyun to say that she has no pressure. On the contrary, the family also has high hopes for her, which makes her sleepless at night and dare not relax her practice. She did not hesitate for too long to make the decision to advance and retreat with Chen Qingyun and others and participate in the Xingzong campaign. If you want to do it, then do it. You can't cultivate a strong person in a greenhouse. Fifth sister is much stronger than I thought. If I didn't go to find her today, I really didn't know that she had broken through the cultivation. Chen Qingyun smiled bitterly. Help fifth sister in the near future and improve her strength. While thinking, a sound transmission node on his body moved and vibrated slightly. Someone sent a message. Chapter 120 Demon Refining Tower. Chen Qingyun fumbled and took out a sound transmission node. It was Liu Zilin who sent the message. Chen Qingyun opened his spiritual sense, read the message inside, and soon began to ponder. Second level, top grade, Demon Refining Tower. In the message, Liu Zilin's master Zhuxiantu was mentioned, who wanted to refine a second-level top-grade magic weapon called Demon Refining Tower recently. This person wanted to ask Chen Qingyun through Liu Zilin to ask Senior Liu if he could help refine it. This time the reward was 10,000 spirit stones, which was equivalent to a foundation building pill. Now, the opportunity to refine a magic weapon and earn spirit stones has come again, but Chen Qingyun frowned. Second level, top-grade magic weapon. This first-level top-grade magic weapon, to be enhanced to the second-level lower grade, needs to consume 21 points of enhancement. If it is upgraded to the second-level top-grade level, how many points will it take? Strengthening points, 64. After looking at the current strengthening points, Chen Qingyun was a little troubled. He obviously couldn't refine a second-level magic weapon. He had to accumulate 200 strengthening points first to strengthen the Demon Refining Tower. And whether the Demon Refining Tower has a first-level low-grade or first-level medium-grade version, he had to get the Refining Jade Slip to see it. I don't know what the specific effect of this Demon Refining Tower is yet. Zhuxiantu, I have to go there. Chen Qingyun didn't hesitate and decided to go there in person. It's just right to sell the 50 accumulated Zhuxiantu swords. Then buy a lot of 5 elements essence to speed up the practice of Tangsu refining god technique. For the fifth sister, buy some elixirs to increase her cultivation. At that time, see if you can buy some broken magic weapons at a low price to decompose. Now decomposing a Zhuxiantu sword is worth 650 spirit stones, which is hard to give up. Chen Qingyun did not rush to agree, but responded, pretending to ask Senior Liu what he thought first. Is there time to take over the refining? On the next day, he replied, telling him that he had time to refine, and asked when they could discuss face to face. Only in this way can we finally decide whether to refine. Deu, Chen, see you in Zhuxiantu in 3 days. Liu Zilin gave the time for the meeting. 3 days passed quickly. Chen Qingyun set off early in the morning and came to Zhuxiantu. When he went up to the second floor, he saw a middle-aged beautiful woman sitting there, talking to Liu Zilin. Seeing Chen Qingyun coming up, the middle-aged beautiful woman cast a look at him. Liu Zilin also smiled at this time and greeted Chen Qingyun. Deu, Chen, please sit down, this is my master. While she introduced slowly, she brewed a cup of tea, and the faint fragrance of tea leaves spread, making people feel relaxed and happy. Chen Qingyun guessed the origin of the middle-aged beautiful woman. This person was Zhuxiantu. Chen Qingyun could not detect any cultivation aura on her. But even so, she gave people a feeling that she should not be provoked and should be avoided. This woman was a purple mansion cultivator. Chen Qingyun felt a little daunted, but he was not timid at all. He looked at her and sized her up. Today, I see that you are 20 years old, younger than I thought. I wonder why Senior Liu didn't come with you? Zhuxiantu said lightly, looking at Chen Qingyun with a smile. Senior Liu. Where can I find a Senior Liu for you? Chen Qingyun smiled in his heart, but smiled politely on the surface. Senior, Lu is busy, just tell me to come over to meet him. I see. Zhu Yurong stared straight at Chen Qingyun, showing a little admiration. I heard that you have a good cultivation at a young age. Now I see that you have already reached the 9th level of qi refining. Your achievements are much better than those young people in Lingbao Mountain who claim to be the best and like to look down on others. With such a superior talent, I believe Senior Lu also appreciates you very much. Chen Qingyun's cultivation, even if he deliberately restrained himself, could not be hidden from Zhu Yurong's eyes. He was seen clearly and clearly. Faced with this praise, Chen Qingyun just smiled and responded with a few words. After a simple exchange. Knowing that Zhu Yurong had just arrived not long ago, Chen Qingyun went straight to the point. Senior, you are free now, why not tell me about the Demon Refining Tower? Okay. Zhu Yurong did not hesitate. She had already learned some information from Liu Zilin, and directly took out a jade slip and handed it to Chen Qingyun. This time, refining is the same as helping my disciple. The 10,000 spirit stones are one of the rewards for refining. Since you helped me to connect with Senior Lu, I will not let you work in vain and take advantage of you. You can ask for formations, magic tools, talismans, elixirs, etc. Hearing the rewards given by Zhu Yurong, Chen Qingyun's eyes lit up and he subconsciously wanted to ask about the foundation building pill. Unexpectedly, Zhu Yurong observed his expression and said quickly, by the way, the foundation building pill is excluded. There is no such thing in Lingbao Mountain now, and I am not sure I can get one for you. You might as well change it to other requirements. Hearing this, Chen Qingyun couldn't help but smile bitterly. After all, the foundation building pill is a strategic resource of the family and sect, and one is worth at least 10,000 spirit stones. Even if Zhu Yurong had the foundation building pill, he would not do this loss-making business. The reward for the Demon Refining Tower is 10,000 spirit stones. Adding a foundation building pill, spending 20,000 spirit stones to obtain a second-level top-grade magic weapon is obviously impossible. The other party will not become stupid through practice. Guessing that Chen Qingyun has not made up his mind yet, Zhu Yurong is not in a hurry and said with a smile, "Take a look at this jade slip first. If there is no problem, I will give you the materials. What do you want? Tell me when you have thought about it." Okay. Chen Qingyun nodded. Wait a moment, Senior, let me take a look first. The spiritual consciousness probed into the jade slip, and the detailed refining process and the classification of magic tools gradually became clear. The Demon Refining Tower is a top-notch existence among the second-level top-grade magic tools. Even a third-level refiner may not be able to refine it. This thing can be used to restrain demons, and specifically fight against demons. The demon refining true fire contained in it is as powerful as magic weapons. Magic weapons are magic tools used by Purple Mansion cultivators. In terms of grade, this demon refining tower also has the most basic version, which is at the first grade upper grade. According to the current refining attainments, Chen Qingyun cannot refine it yet. He has to wait until he is promoted to the first grade upper grade refiner. After reading the contents of the jade slip, Chen Qingyun lowered his head and pondered. Seeing Chen Qingyun's reaction, he seemed a little uncertain. Zhu Yurong waited quietly for a while before asking, "What do you think, fellow Taoist Chen?" This is obviously asking Chen Qingyun whether he can refine it. If you have any questions, just say it directly. Chen Qingyun retracted his spiritual consciousness and raised his head and said, "May I ask, Senior, when is the latest time you can accept this Demon Refining Tower?" Chapter 121 Special Request, Money Received. To be honest, I refined this item and used it on the demon battlefield. At the latest, I can only wait for 1 year. Zhu Yurong said. It has been about a year and a half since the Star Sect was recruited. Since it is used to deal with monsters, after getting the magic weapon, it naturally takes a while to get familiar with it. Chen Qingyun nodded lightly when he heard this. On his side, there is no problem in becoming a first-level high-grade weapon refiner within a year. To be able to be valued so highly by a Zaifu cultivator, This demon refining tower must be extraordinary. When the time comes, this item will definitely bring a lot of help on the demon battlefield, and it will be a major killer. When he thought of this, Chen Qingyun was not hesitant. He nodded and said, "Within 1 year, yes." I wonder how many refining materials the senior has prepared? In terms of refining, this is also the key point. I also want this demon refining tower. Haha, can I do without your help in terms of materials? Zhu Yurong joked, seeing the hope of refining. A smile appeared on his face. 5 materials, very well prepared. How about giving me a finished demon refining tower when the time comes? No problem. The deal is finalized. Chen Qingyun collected the jade refining slips and 5 refining materials. Have you thought about what fellow Taoist Chen wants? Until this time, Zhu Yurong asked about this topic again. Chen Qingyun recalled Zhu Yurong's previous words, combined with what he needed now, and thought about it. It was nothing more than cultivation resources. As for elixirs, since there is no foundation building elixir, I won't ask about the elixirs. As for spirit stones, you can get them by selling the red sky sword. If I wanted spiritual stones alone, I wouldn't be able to get much from Zhu Yurong. If you want a magic weapon, you can completely refine it yourself or spend money to buy it. Talismans, formations, etc. are all things that can be solved with money. After thinking for a while, she recalled what Zhu Yurong had just said, that she obtained the demon refining tower in order to prepare for the Star Sect's recruitment in a year's time. An idea emerged in Chen Qingyun's mind. Senior, I dare you to ask. Senior, you will also participate in the recruitment of the Star Sect in a year's time and take action to suppress the Xinghai demon tide, right? Chen Qingyun looked solemn and asked. Good. Zhu Yurong nodded non-committally. The Xingzong is the only one in Xinghai, and even Lingbo Shan has to bow down. In this recruitment, Lingbo Shan is involved, so naturally it needs to send people to assist. Zhu Yurong didn't mention much about the details. When Chen Qingyun heard this, the light in his eyes flashed rapidly, and finally he looked up into Zhu Yurong's eyes and said, "Then, let me admit it frankly, the senior is a monk from the Z mansion, and the junior's request is related to the Xinghai demon wave in a year's time." Oh? Upon hearing Chen Qingyun's words, not only Zhu Yurong showed surprise. Even Liu Zilin on the side looked stunned and looked at Chen Qingyun. Looking at the doubtful looks of the two women, Chen Qingyun smiled slightly and said with a straight face, "Senior is well informed and must know that my Chen family has participated in the recruitment of the Star Sect and will also go to the front line to fight against the demons. Junior has only one request." Chen Qingyun paused, took a deep breath, and continued slowly. "If our Chen family encounters trouble on the battlefield of monsters, I would like to ask my seniors to take a step to help our Chen family." Hearing this request, Zhu Yurong narrowed his eyes first, not expecting that Chen Qingyun would make such a request. Immediately, she suddenly realized when she thought of the strength of the Chen family, and she couldn't help but smile. "What I thought it was, it turned out to be so." Zhu Yurong nodded slowly. "I can agree to your special request, but the premise is that I can only do my best to help your Chen family." The meaning of these words is obvious. I can help once, but it depends on what the matter is. She could only do her best. For example, if the monks of the Chen family were besieged by several golden elixir stage demons, she would definitely be helpless. If she interfered, she would die. This is natural, as long as seniors do their best. Chen Qingyun also knew that the request he made was difficult to define accurately. It's just that it gave the Chen family a guarantee. I hope that in a critical moment, Zhu Yurong can take action and resolve a crisis for the Chen family or a certain monk in the Chen family. After all, the current Chen clan cannot come into contact with the Xifu stage monks, nor can they enter this circle. According to Zhu Yurong's strength, once he helps the Chen clan, the Chen family must be in trouble that cannot be resolved. With this reassurance, Chen Qingyun felt a little more at ease. "You are very considerate of the family, I promise you this." Thank you very much, Senior. After the weapon refining deal was concluded and the two exchanged a few words, Chen Qingyun calmly took out a storage bag. Senior Liu, I happened to be here this time. Senior Liu asked me to sell another batch of Scarlet Sky Swords. Seeing the storage bag in Chen Qingyun's hand, Liu Zilin's eyes were attracted, and Zhu Yurong on the side also watched with interest. When Chen Qingyun took out the Zhuxiantu swords, I have a total of 50 red sky flying swords. Seeing that Chen Qingyun could sell dozens of magical artifacts at the same time, Zhu Yurong watched with interest. No wonder that when the boy from the Chen family wanted to satisfy a request, the other party didn't ask for spiritual stones and didn't even mention it. So he is here to earn spirit stones. Senior, you can carefully count the number and quality of these Zhuxiantu swords. Chen Qingyun looked indifferent, noticed Zhu Yurong's expression, and just smiled. The number of these Zhuxiantu swords is really nothing. The weapon refining workshop can finish it in 5 days of continuous production. However, he no longer has red iron on him, and he will have 10 pieces to distribute at the end of the month. It will be difficult to sell so many Zhuxiantu swords at one time in the future. Okay. Liu Zilin came back to her senses and began to count. After a while, she nodded. According to the previous recycling price, 50 Zhuxiantu swords are a total of 32,500 spirit stones. Do you think this price is okay? Yes. Chen Qingyun nodded readily and waited to collect the money. Liu Zilin began to grope in the storage bag. After searching 3 storage bags, he finally collected 32,500 spirit stones and gave them to Chen Qingyun. How come this girl is so rich? Zhu Yurong sighed inwardly when she saw her apprentice taking out so many spirit stones at once. She didn't expect that Liu Zilin was so rich. The Yu family of Hunyuan Island seemed to be very caring towards her junior. Thank you very much. After receiving the spirit stones, Chen Qingyun was ecstatic, and his face was still calm. Fellow Taoist Chen, you are so young, and you are carrying so many spirit stones alone. You must be more careful on the road. Zhu Yurong kindly reminded him. Chen Qingyun frowned when he heard these words. Chapter 122, Evil Deeds in the Market, Broken Magic Tools. Listening to the meaning of Zhu Yurong's words, why do you have the illusion that the other party has the idea of killing people and seizing the treasure? As soon as this idea emerged, Zhu Yurong continued. The city of Hefang has not been peaceful recently, and several evil acts of killing people and seizing treasures have occurred one after another. Ancestor Bei has already taken action twice, killing a foundation-building monk and 2 qi refining monks. Fellow Taoist Chen, it's better to be more careful. You also understand the principle of keeping your wealth secret. What you are afraid of is that someone will see you as a family monk and be concerned about your wealth. Ancestor Bei, this is a golden elixir monk who guards Hefang city and comes from Yaoang Mountain. In terms of seniority, when Zhu Yurong saw Ancestor Bei, he had to address him as senior. Chen Qingyun really knows nothing about the recent situation in Hefang city and what has happened. Now that I know this, I realize that staying in the city is not necessarily the safest. Driven by profit, there will always be people who want to take risks and lick blood on the tip of the knife. What my master said is true. Liu Zilin also spoke, kindly reminding Chen Qingyun. You brought so many red sky swords this time, which is a bit beyond my expectation. If there were more than a dozen more, I wouldn't have that many spiritual stones. Recently, there have been many gangster cultivators outside the city, specifically targeting cultivators from wealthy families. You should be more cautious. Be careful when sailing the ship that lasts 10,000 years. As soon as Liu Zilin finished speaking, Zhu Yurong glanced at her calmly. It seems that his disciple does not have much spiritual stone savings. I originally wanted to ask her to borrow some spiritual stones for my income. It seems that I really need to go to old Ancestor Bei and sell him a favor. This batch of kaijao was sold this time. I don't know when the next time will be, so I brought them all at once. Chen Qingyun confessed. According to his current family salary. Just say that guarding Zhenhai Island costs 10 pieces of red iron every month. Excluding the refining consumption, it is equivalent to getting 8 or 9 red sky swords in a month, not counting the strengthening points he needs to consume to disassemble the magic weapon. The next time we sell the red sky sword in large quantities will be at least 4 or 5 months later. It seems that Senior Liu has been busy recently and has no time to take care of refining the red sky sword. Liu Zilin nodded slightly and guessed. Chen Qingyun didn't mean to say much about this, he just nodded as if he agreed. After completing the sale of the Scarlet Sword, Chen Qingyun found the opportunity and asked about another matter. I wonder if there are any damaged magic weapons for sale here, Senior Liu? He still has to purchase some more damaged magic weapons and take them back to break them down. Just for refining and strengthening the demon refining tower, he estimated that it would have at least 100 strengthening points. If you refine the demon refining tower later, you will need a lot of strengthening points. Droken magic weapon? I did not recycle this type of magic weapon. Fellow Taoist Chen recently wanted to improve his weapon refining skills. Liu Zilin shook her head, guessing Chen Qingyun's intention. She had met several monks who bought broken magic weapons, and they were all monks who knew how to refine weapons. These monks all want to observe and understand the formation patterns on the magic weapon, so as to achieve the purpose of learning to refine the weapon. This practice will be done by both Lingbo Shan monks and casual cultivators. Of course, casual cultivators meet more frequently, because they do not have many resources to learn the art of weapon refining, and they cannot afford to hire a master to teach them. In other words, one can only learn by oneself with the help of broken magic weapons and dismantling the formation patterns in them. This approach does work. There are many examples of monks who have successfully entered the art of weapon refining through this method. Almost. Chen Qingyun didn't explain much, and simply followed Liu Zilin's guess and responded, this junior wants to improve his skills in weapon refining. Since Senior Liu doesn't have it here, then junior should ask elsewhere. Well, if fellow Taoist Chen has enough time, you can go to the street stall market in the East District. In the hands of casual cultivators, there are often some damaged magic weapons for sale, and the prices are extremely low. As for the origin of the magic weapons, there is no need to delve into them. Liu Zilin gave advice. Broken magic weapons on the market. Aside from improper use and wear and tear caused by long-term use, the rest is basically damage caused by fighting skills. Most of the broken magic weapons in Ditanfang City were broken during battles. Only the sellers know who these magical artifacts originally belonged to, and there is no need to delve into their origins. That's all it can do. Chen Qingyun nodded. Finally, I exchanged a few words with Liu Zilin, and before leaving, I remembered the 5 elements essence. I wonder if your store has the 5 elements essence? Upon hearing Chen Qingyun mentioning the 5 elements essence, Zhu Yurong and Liu Zilin looked at each other and guessed that it was to meet the needs of some kind of cultivation. Fellow Taoist Chen, why do you choose something that is not available in my store? Liu Zilin smiled bitterly and shook her head, making a joke. I am not involved in the 5 elements essence business, but I can recommend a shop to you. You should go there and have a look. After a simple conversation, Chen Qingyun finally knew where to buy the 5 elements essence. At the same time, Liu Zilin also informed Chen Qingyun about the recent prices of elixirs, magic weapons, talismans, etc. in the market. Different than imagined. In Hefang City, whether it is magical weapons, elixirs, talismans, formations, spiritual beasts, etc. The recent premium is not large and has basically stabilized. According to the information obtained by Liu Zilin, the Xingzong is behind this market and has suppressed the continuous premium of resources. But that's all. The prices of various resources have not yet returned to their original state. This is also a helpless move. There are a large number of cultivators in the Star Sea. Most of the resources are in the hands of the Sex and the Immortal families, and not much can flow out from the cracks between their fingers. In addition to the arrival of the Xinghai monster tide, the premium is reasonable. as long as there is no large-scale riot. Wait for the end of the war, and then there will be a large amount of monster materials and so on the market, and the prices of various resources will also drop. Chen Qingyun didn't think much about these things. He just did his own thing and protected the Chen family. Thank you, Senior Liu, for telling me. Chen wants to buy 2 bottles of qi refining pills. Do you still have these qi refining pills in your store? Chen Qingyun asked with a smile. Fellow Taoist Chen, you are joking. Of course there are qi refining pills. The current price is 620 spirit stones per bottle. Okay. After buying 2 bottles of qi refining pills and handing them over to the 5th sister, Chen Qingyun did not stay any longer. I have something important to do, so I will take my leave now. Chen Qingyun bowed and left. The 2 girls watched Chen Qingyun for a distance, whispered a few words to each other, and guessed when Chen Qingyun would appear next time. By then, would he still be in the qi refining stage? According to Liu Zilin's instructions, they headed towards the northern area of the market. After a while, Chen Qingyun entered a shop called Qingguang. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 123 Demon Crystal Flying Blade. This is the shop that Liu Zilin mentioned, which mainly sells the 5 elements of essence. The person who received him was a casual cultivator at the 8th level of qi refining. With such strength, it is a bit of a waste of talent to work as a clerk in a shop. Chen Qingyun couldn't help but take a closer look. The life of casual cultivators is indeed not easy. They have to work hard for spiritual stone resources all day long. This is also the real life of many casual cultivators. In the eyes of mortals, casual cultivators are also immortals who are free and easy and travel the world. Compared with these frogs in the well, they are much better. But looking at the world of immortal cultivation, don't casual cultivators envy family cultivators and sect disciples? Chen Qingyun simply looked at the other party twice and pointed out his purpose. When the clerk heard it, he smiled very skillfully. The 5 elements of essence in our store are divided into small bags, medium bags and large bags. Which one do you want to buy? This thing is also like coffee, divided into large cups, medium cups and small cups. Chen Qingyun smiled in his heart and asked how it was divided specifically. The price of a small bag is 100 spirit stones, a medium bag is 200, and a large bag is 290. I recommend that you buy a large bag, which can save you 10 spirit stones. The waiter recommended with a smile. 10 spirit stones, for him, is half a month's wages. It can be seen that Chen Qingyun is buying the 5 elements of essence for the first time. The waiter showed Chen Qingyun the specific amount of 5 elements of essence in the 3 bags. In the end, Chen Qingyun spent 2,900 spirit stones, bought 10 large bags of 5 elements of essence and left Qingguang. This fellow Taoist is really arrogant. Watching Chen Qingyun leave, the waiter couldn't help but sigh and continued to work hard. After buying the 5 elements of essence, Chen Qingyun went all the way to the East District and came to the street market. The atmosphere here seemed a bit lively today. After Chen Qingyun simply changed his appearance, he began to wander around. Most of the people around are independent cultivators, all wanting to pan for gold and find bargains here. After walking around for a while, Chen Qingyun stopped in front of a stall, looked at the stall, and fell on 2 broken magic tools. It was a small bell magic tool and a mountain magic tool, which were in a broken state. The reason for this was obviously that they were damaged during the battle. Looking at the stall owner, he was a young cultivator with the 6th level of qi refining, wearing the clothes of a disciple of Wuan Island, and was a cultivator of Wuan Island. Seeing that a cultivator of Wuan Island was setting up a stall here, Chen Qingyun took a look. Here, most of them are independent cultivators, and there are also a few family cultivators. No matter how poor the disciples of the sect are, They are not willing to set up stalls here. The appearance of the other party also attracted the attention of some independent cultivators around. How much are these two magic tools? Chen Qingyun asked. He would not ask how these two magic tools came from without a sense of boundaries, just by them. Wang Chang looked up at Chen Qingyun and smiled. "Do have good eyesight. These two magic tools are 5 spirit stones each, and their grades are all first grade lower grade." After that, Wang Chang added, "No bargaining. 5 spirit stones each, it can be said to be a bargain. Can I take a look?" "Of course." Chen Qingyun picked up the two magic tools and could feel that most of the spiritual charm in the magic tools had dissipated, and they could no longer exert any power. The only thing that was still valuable was that the array patterns were well preserved. 5 spirit stones each, the price was not expensive, and under the system's detection, it could indeed be decomposed. "I want it. Take out 10 spirit stones and buy the two magic tools." Just as he was about to turn around and leave, Wang Chang's call came over. "Do wait." Chen Qingyun stopped and his expression froze. "Anything else?" Wang Chang showed a vigilant look, looked around, and said in a voice transmission, "I have another broken magic weapon in my hand, which is a little special. Are you interested in taking a look?" Hearing Wang Chang's words, Chen Qingyun became interested. "Let's take a look." Wang Chang looked around again after hearing this. "Can you lend me a hand?" he called out and cast a shielding spell. A semicircular barrier appeared, covering him and Chen Qingyun, isolating them from the outside world sight and sound. Seeing that the other party was so cautious, Chen Qingyun waited calmly. The next moment, he saw the other party take out a silver-white flying blade. This thing is called the Demon Crystal Flying Blade, which is made of the fangs of the second-level demon dragon and the 1,000-year-old black crystal. It has a very terrifying penetrating power. As long as it is used in battle, it can ignore the magic shields condensed by the cultivators in the Qi refining and foundation building stages, and achieve the effect of killing the enemy unexpectedly. Wang Chang introduced excitedly. It can break the magic barrier of Qi refining cultivators, or even foundation building cultivators, which makes Chen Qingyun very interested. The last time he fought with Al Shah Yuan, he spent a lot of time to break the magic barrier cast by the opponent. This thing is very useful if you equip it on your body. The only problem is that this demon crystal flying blade is made from the fangs of a second-level dragon. Doesn't that mean it is a second-level magic weapon? I bought it myself, and I can't use it for the time being. Don't rush to refuse. Why not take a look at the quality of the magic weapon first? Seeing that Chen Qingyun didn't want to say more, Wang Chang handed the demon crystal flying blade to Chen Qingyun. The flying blade is the size of a palm and is in the shape of a pointed cone. At first glance, it gives people a very sharp feeling. However, this is also a damaged magic weapon. It can be seen that there are small cracks on the flying blade, which is obviously damaged in the battle. If this thing is used again, it will probably be shattered and reduced to scrap metal after a few collisions with the magic weapon. The array pattern on it is well preserved. If it is given to some weapon refiners with solid skills, they can completely replicate this magic weapon. It's just that the power will be different. Don't think that this thing has been downgraded to a first-class upper grade. If you use it with all your strength, it can not only burst out the power of a first-class top-grade magic weapon, but also have an unexpected effect. I am Wang Chang from Wulan Island. I am short of money recently, so I came here to set up a stall to sell magic weapons. After reporting his origin, Wang Chang said with a solemn look, "To be honest, this demon crystal flying blade has a clear origin. It was sold to me by a fellow disciple. It was damaged a few months ago when my fellow disciple was fighting with someone. It was not obtained by killing people." You can put your worries aside. If you use someone else's magic weapon and are recognized by their close relatives and friends, It will easily cause trouble. Chen Qingyun naturally did not want to buy a magic weapon of unknown origin and bury hidden dangers for himself. But since this demon crystal flying blade is the magic weapon of Wang Cheng's fellow disciple, there is nothing to worry about. Thinking of this, Chen Qingyun asked, "How many spirit stones do you want to sell it for?" The price of a broken magic weapon of the first grade is about 100 spirit stones. Seeing that Chen Qingyun was interested in buying it, Wang Cheng thought about it and said, "If Dao sincerely wants it, how about the minimum price of 110 spirit stones?" After bargaining with Wang Cheng, Chen Qingyun bought this demon crystal flying blade for 90 spirit stones. This item is no longer useful in Wang Cheng's hands. It will be scrapped after 1 or 2 more uses. It is more practical to exchange it for spirit stones. But when it comes to Chen Qingyun, it can be turned into treasure. After completing the magic weapon transaction, Chen Qingyun continued to wander around. In the whole afternoon, he bought 16 broken magic weapons, spending a total of 201 spirit stones. These broken magic weapons ranged from first grade low grade to first grade high grade. Taking advantage of the sky not being completely dark, Chen Qingyun left the market. Not long after he left the Black Cliff Market, 2 figures followed him stealthily, each controlling a flying boat magic weapon. Chapter 124. If you want to take it, it depends on your ability. Outside the Black Cliff Market, over the sea. Chen Qingyun had experienced being tracked by cultivators more than once, and after being reminded by Zhu Yurong, he had been keeping an eye on things. Just a few miles away from the market, he soon noticed the movement behind him and realized that someone was following him. Have these bandit cultivators really been lawless recently? Chen Qingyun frowned slightly, and landed on the nearby island without making a sound. It seems that action is inevitable. In order to ensure victory and prevent unexpected situations. Chen Qingyun threw 4 formation flags in succession, accurately arranged the formation nodes of the inverted 5 elements formation in advance, and was ready to be opened at any time. The Zhuxiantu sword formation was not hidden either, and 5 formation flags were also laid down, located inside the inverted 5 elements formation. After quickly arranging 2 formations and setting up an ambush, Chen Qingyun quietly waited for the 2 bandit cultivators. Currently, the chaos in the Black Cliff Market is just as Zhu Yurong said. Some cultivators are so bold that they want to fish in troubled waters by directly starting a fight in the market. Not to mention that they are no longer restricted by the rules of the market. This bandit cultivator has killed so many innocent cultivators. Since we have encountered him, we will clean him up. Someone sent a pillow to me when I sleep, and I am in need of a magic weapon. Strange, is this kid tired of running? Among the 2, the cultivator with pockmarks on his face slowed down his flying speed and stared at the deserted island where Chen Qingyun landed. What is he doing? This person is called Zhuxiantu, a bandit cultivator who has been causing chaos around the Black Cliff Market recently. Relying on the 8th level of Qi refining, he joined forces with his accomplice Wu Chu, and several family cultivators have been deceived and died in their hands. These 2 people specifically target family cultivators, and they value the resources of these family cultivators, which are much better than those of the poor and destitute independent cultivators. Their cultivation bases are all in the late stage of Qi refining. After more than a month of killing, the 2 men have improved their cultivation bases by killing people and stealing treasures, and they have several more magic weapons in their hands. I see that this kid is also in the late stage of Qi refining, and his strength is about the same as that of the Xingzong disciple last time. But, so what? Compared with us casual cultivators who are struggling on the edge of a knife, they are still too inferior. These young family cultivators are too weak. As usual, we will fight quickly this time. Zhu finished speaking. Wu Chu, who was standing aside, recalled the Xingzong disciple he met a few days ago, and a bit of fear appeared on his face. Brother, last time that Xingzong disciple disguised himself, we misjudged him and almost offended Xingzong, leading to endless pursuit. Fortunately, we have a large number of people and the guy is strong on the outside but weak on the inside, too arrogant, so we were able to sneak up on him and kill him in time to silence him. Otherwise, even if we escape to the ends of the earth, we can't escape Nangong Yuang's palm and be put on Xingzong's killing list." Wu Chu twitched the muscles on his face and chattered non-stop. "Brother, the situation was too dangerous at that time, and we almost got into big trouble. Second brother and fourth brother died in that battle. You and I were almost exhausted and recuperated for a long time." While speaking, Wu Chu hesitated and didn't dare to act casually. "This time, this family cultivator can't be a big shot. Is he the offspring of a Purple Mansion cultivator?" Thinking back to the battle that day, Wu Chu felt a chill down his spine. Nangong Mini only had the strength of the 7th level of Qi refining, but he had a lot of treasures, and the skills he used were also very powerful. Among the 4 of them, 2 were at the 8th level of Qi refining, 1 was at the 7th level of Qi refining, and 1 was at the 9th level of Qi refining. After joining forces, they actually fought for more than 100 rounds. Even though Nangong Mini was besieged, his 2 fists were no match for 4 hands, and he finally killed 2 people and almost escaped. At the critical moment, Wu Chu reluctantly activated a 1st level extreme cold talisman to sneak attack, which led to the death of Nangong Mini. Recalling the big commotion in that battle, Wu Chu was almost wiped out, and he was still frightened. He swore that if he met a disciple of Xingzong again in the future, he must stay away. Zhuxiantu's eyes turned cold, and he twitched his mouth and snorted. "What are you afraid of? We have killed the legitimate son of the Purple Mansion cultivator of Xingzong. Do we care about killing one more person with a great background? Besides, no matter how good this person's background is, can he compare with the legitimate son of Nangong Yuang? Is he more powerful than him?" Nangong Yuang is known as the first Purple Mansion in Xinghai, but he is far from being comparable to other Purple Mansion cultivators. There are not so many iron plates in this world for us to kick. After Zhuxiantu finished speaking, he showed a fierce look and glared at Wu Chu. "Don't be indecisive. We killed Nangong Mini, and sooner or later Nangong Yuang will find out. It's better to improve your strength as soon as possible, and go to the outer Star Sea to hide for a while after doing these few things." When mentioning the outer Star Sea, both of them looked solemn. Because there is no drastic governance by Xingzong, there are countless sea monsters there, mostly deep-sea giant monsters, which are much more dangerous than this inner Star Sea. The territory there is also more vast, and it is the germination place of many demon cultivation sects and evil cult forces. Many desperate criminals and evil people will choose to operate in the outer sea. This also creates a situation in the outer sea that is destined to be turbulent and full of hostility. Okay, I'll take action first this time, and you can act according to the situation. Don't underestimate the enemy. Zhuxiantu smiled and commanded Wu Chu to follow and fly to the deserted islands together. Chen Qingyun noticed that the 2 were coming at a very fast speed and had guessed their origins. He stood on the coastline with his hands behind his back without panic. He was dressed in a robe and his long hair fluttered in the wind, which made him look quite extraordinary. "You are so brave. You didn't even run away when you saw us." Zhuxiantu smiled awkwardly after landing on the island. He wiped his storage bag with his palm, took out a leaf-shaped flying sword, and slashed it towards Chen Qingyun. "Then, I'll send you to death." Facing such a fierce attack, Chen Qingyun looked calm and casually activated the water and fire talist robe. A water wave defense barrier wrapped Chen Qingyun's body and easily resisted the attack of the leaf-flying sword. A first-class magic weapon? In just a moment, Zhuxiantu's expression froze when he noticed the fluctuation of the breath released by the water and fire talist robe. "It looks like a water and fire robe." Wu Chu, who was standing by, was stunned for a moment. He looked carefully and recognized the water and fire robe. But he shook his head quickly. "No, the water and fire robe is only a first-grade medium-quality robe. How come the one on this kid is a first-grade top-grade one?" Although the 2 were puzzled, The greed on their faces became even stronger. A first-grade top-grade magic weapon was enough to make them excited. The two looked at each other and realized that this was a piece of fat meat that could not be missed. Wu Chu slapped the storage bag, took out the Qingyun sword, injected magic power quickly, and aimed it directly at Chen Qingyun. Seeing the two people's actions, even if he was sure that they came with murderous intent, Chen Qingyun still raised his eyebrows slightly and asked, "You, too, you have done too many things to kill people and rob treasures, aren't you afraid of capsizing in the gutter?" Hee. "Killing you is still easy." Zhuxiantu showed a playful look and stared at Chen Qingyun. "I like to torture and kill you family monks the most. If you want to die quickly, you can kneel down and beg for mercy now. Maybe I can give you a quick death if I am happy. Otherwise, I will pull out your tendons and skin you alive, chop you up and feed you to the fish." "That's right, kid, you'd better be sensible and take the initiative to offer your valuable things with both hands, so that you don't have to kneel down and beg for mercy." Wu Chu also had a playful look on his face. Hearing this, Chen Qingyun directly sacrificed the 5 elements and stood in front of him. "If you want to take it, it depends on your ability." Chapter 125 Imperial Celestial Astrology. The words fell. Chen Qingyun stopped talking and activated the 5 elements without holding back at all. "HMPH, you are still talking tough even when you are about to die." Zhuxiantu looked stunned and snorted coldly. Seeing the 5 elements, he subconsciously thought that Chen Qingyun knew that he was not strong enough and wanted to rely on puppets to win. A family monk is a family monk. Each and every one of them relies too much on external objects. They are just flowers in the greenhouse, and they lack combat experience. But the thought just came to mind. The next moment, he realized with horror that the aura exuding from the puppet was far beyond the chi refining stage. Build. Build a foundation? Zhuxiantu showed an expression as if he had seen a ghost, and screamed out in fright. "Why, is it another ruthless one? What?" When Wu Kaiyu heard this, his expression tightened, and he was about to look at the 5 elements. Immediately afterwards, the puppet was seen attacking. An extremely strong force swept over, followed by a figure flashing, and only a clanging sound was heard. The leaf-flying sword in Zhuxiantu's hand was slapped away with a palm, and a horrified scream rang out. "Ah, no!" Wu Xing made a decisive move and knocked away Zhuxiantu's flying sword with one punch. He then waved his fist and struck Zhuxiantu's body solidly. Faced with such absolute suppression of power, any resistance from Zhuxiantu was in vain, and he was punched to death on the spot. The pungent smell of blood spread, causing Wu Kaiyu to look frightened. He was already frightened to death. Wu Xing's face was indifferent and he did not use any magic weapon. He simply used his physical body and magic power in the foundation building stage to easily kill Zhuxiantu. His eyes shifted to Wu Kaiyu, who was still moving mechanically, not slow at all, approaching quickly. Wu Kaiyu was so frightened that he lost all hope and realized deeply that he was no match for the foundation building monk. Senior, spare your life." He shouted for mercy and ran quickly towards the sea. Chen Qingyun's expression did not change. He looked at him coldly, and urged the 5 elements to pursue him. Wu Kaiyu, who was just in the chi refining stage, could not escape from Chen Qingyun. He had just taken a few steps when he was caught up by 5 elements. When Wu Chu was in a panic, he created a black ring and shrouded it towards the 5 elements' bendo head. This is a first-class dragon-locking ring that can temporarily block a monk's mana, and it also has the ability to restrain enemies. This object was made by Nangong Minyi, and it was the opponent's personal magic weapon. When they beheaded Nangong Minyi, Zhuxiantu and the 2 men spent a lot of effort and almost lost their lives by using all their trump cards. It was during that battle that the 2 of them decided to kill Nangong Minyi and silence him after they learned about Nangong Minyi's origins. Afterwards, even if he obtained Nangong Minyi's magical weapon and wealth, he did not dare to reveal it to outsiders easily. This dragon-locking ring was the first time Wu Kaiyu used it in actual combat out of helplessness. The dragon-locking ring unfolded to the size of a person, and the aura of the magical weapon released fluctuated, making Chen Qingyun's expression condense. First class magic weapon. This is the first time I have encountered an opponent using a magical weapon of this level. As casual cultivators, these two had the shadow-bearing sword and the sword in front of them, which seemed to have caused harm to many cultivators. Buzz. Although the dragon locking ring is good, it can only suppress the chi refining monks. In front of the 5 elements, he was directly shaken away by this powerful foundation building force, and fell to the beach with a bang. Wu Kaiyu was focused on running for his life, but he couldn't pick up the dragon ring, so he shot out more than a dozen talismans with his backhand. Rumble. Ice arrow talisman, thunderstorm talisman, mist talisman, etc. exploded one after another, hitting the 5 elements. Integrated with the powerful defense of the Jinsheng puppet, the power of Jinsheng unfolded, and the 5 elements easily withstood these attacks. Its entire body burst out with mighty power, turning into a stream of light and chasing Wu Chu. Ah, don't! A hoarse scream sounded. Wu Kaiyu had just activated the flying boat magic weapon, but could not hold on for a single move, so he was punched by Wu Xing and was buried in the sea. Wu Xing kept walking and picked up the 2 storage bags on the ground. The leaf flying sword, dragon locking ring and shadow-bearing sword turned back and handed them to Chen Qingyun. Both flying swords are of the first level. There is also a first-class dragon locking ring. Looking at the black ring in his hand, Chen Qingyun could feel that there was an obvious aura of righteousness on it. As soon as people use it, they will feel a sense of righteousness and awe-inspiringness. Such a strong and upright aura seems to come from an immortal sect. I don't know which senior refined the magic weapon. Chen Qingyun's eyes flashed with light. This thing is a good thing. He pocketed it. 2 storage bags, after quickly erasing the remaining spiritual thoughts on them. All the items inside were revealed. 993 pieces of spiritual stone. There are 16 magical instruments. There were a lot of spiritual stones and magic weapons, and the 2 bandit cultivators didn't know how many people they had killed. There are 8 Qigong methods, 2 of which can be practiced, and there is nothing special about them. The remaining 5 sects are all family exercises, and they cannot be practiced because of the existence of restrictions on the exercises. Among them, the remaining technique made Chen Qingyun look surprised. The Emperor's Star Technique. This is the technique of the Star Sect. Huangjai Dancing Technique is an auxiliary technique. Monks can extract the power of the stars at night to baptize their bodies, consolidate their cultivation, and lay a solid foundation for foundation building in advance. This method is used for foundation building. After practicing to a great level, the success rate of foundation building can be increased by 10%. Almost every chi refining disciple of Xingzong has a copy. This is the first time Chen Qingyun has seen such a technique that can assist in building a foundation. It is worthy of being the first sect in Xinghai. A chi refining technique alone can achieve the effect of assisting in building a foundation. It's a pity that this method is forbidden to be passed on to others. If you don't know the specific method, even a purple mansion cultivator can't break it. The spiritual consciousness probed into it, and the first 100 words of the technique could be read, but the rest were blocked by the restriction and could not be seen at all. Chen Qingyun would not be so blindly confident that he could break the technique restriction set by Xingzong. This person has Xingzong techniques. Can he be a cultivator from Xingzong? This thought emerged in his mind, and Chen Qingyun subconsciously frowned. Xingzong cultivators are not people he and the Chen family can afford to provoke. The cultivators in Xinghai often don't want to offend Xingzong disciples, and try to stay away from them as much as possible to avoid conflicts. Did he kill a Xingzong disciple? He quickly searched through the storage bag. After confirming that there was no other object indicating that it was from Xingzong, nor the identity token of the disciple, Chen Qingyun secretly breathed a sigh of relief. His eyes fell on the broken body of Waku in the distance. Recalling the exclamation of the other party after he released the 5 elements to fight, "Why is there another ruthless person?" It seems that this person had encountered a strong enemy before, and he must have killed a Xingzong disciple by accident. Afterwards, in order to destroy the corpse, he cleaned up the identity token of the Xingzong disciple and all related items. leaving only this volume of Huangjitan Xingshu that he was reluctant to destroy. This bandit really did what he wanted, and he dared to kill Xingzong cultivators. Wasn't he afraid of attracting Xingzong's pursuit? If Xingzong disciples could offend anyone and kill them at will, would Xingzong still be able to develop? These two people killed the Xingzong disciples, and they will die sooner or later. It's better for me to take advantage of them. Putting away the skills, Chen Qingyun continued to check the storage bag. He saw a fragmentary map. It showed a sea area and half an island, with scattered text descriptions. What map is this? End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.